That's my baby.
I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
A lot of new people in right now. A lot of people coming in. Have you guys seen her intro yet?
That's my baby.
I'm dying.
That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
Welcome in, everybody. A little AM and PM, AM and PM fix crossover here. Only on A2D Radio. Every show we are brought to by our doc. Make them yours. Dr. Paul Vidal. Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington, Jerry Hill locations. Find them on the web. SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. Tom Renaud, Ryan Brodo, Greg Wagman, Frank Vespi, Ralph Del Vecchio. We're all in different spots tonight. We're all sitting somewhere different in the studio. Everybody's in a different spot. The intro's different. I'm like producing. I'm like a double dipper. I'm a double dipper. This is what we call a double dip. But we got a lot of things to talk about tonight when it pertains to not only the Philadelphia 76ers, but the NBA. And we're going to have a lot of fun with that throughout the show. Later on, we'll get the Eagles-Cardinals preview. We'll give out our score predictions, our players of the game. I mean, we'll touch upon it. We'll do a little NBA agree or disagree and some Sixers agree or disagrees. We'll do NBA over-unders. Record predictions. So we'll circle the leg. A lot of fun things to talk about. Sixers season predictions is the main conversation at hand tonight, though. That's the main topic. And our poll question brought to you by Ambuck Services. 20% off. Telling the boys from A2D Radio sent you. For your gutter guards, gutter installations, Ambuck Services has you covered. The Sixers will finish with more than 45 wins this season. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. That's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcast, we're there as well. Like, subscribe, follow, download, comment in tonight. Let's talk some Sixers because for the first time in like 8 years, I feel like we actually ran inbound plays. For the first time in 8 years, I actually felt like there was like an offense being ran, and that's the first preseason game. And there's nothing to overreact to. It's preseason. Anthony Bennett dropped like 35 in his first preseason game. We see how that aged. So it doesn't matter, but it's still nice to see guys are getting coached up. All right? And you're seeing inbound plays. There was one, I think like 11 minutes in the third quarter where they ran like an okie doke. Like everybody was just circling around. And guys were going, just kept circling. And then Shake Milton came wide open and hit a corner two, I believe. And Jaylen Brown got caught in between because everybody was just moving. It was just something different, stuff we haven't seen before, and I thought was finally nice to see. A breath of fresh air, something we thought we were getting. Now remember, a shortened season here. So to win 45 games, you're talking about 27 losses in a 72-game season. All right? So 45 and 27 is where you would have them in a 72-piece. So 52 and 20, wow. I mean, hey, good times. I mean, great times. I mean, I expect this. I'm going agree. I mean, I believe this team wins. I mean, at worst, 46 then. I mean, I'm going over. They don't got to go over by a lot, but they're definitely over 45. You know, this would be a 50-plus win team in an 82-game season pretty easily if everybody stayed healthy, right? I think we can all agree on that. So 45 is right around where they should be if you estimate it out and take 10 games off. You know what I mean? You take 10 games off, 45 is right around where they should be. Yeah, I mean, I think they can win, you know, anywhere from 46, even maybe 50. I mean, 50 is really a lot, and I think that's asking a lot. But listen, the talent's here. This roster's built for it. I mean, listen, when Matisse Thybulle is going to – it's going to be hard for him to find minutes, means you have a good bench finally, okay? It's like the first time where you have a good bench here. And I like what I saw out of one Joel. I thought they used him in the block well, right? I thought he really did a good job of getting him in the block early on. Ben tried to find his way early on, but, I mean, he shut Tatum down again. And I know it's preseason, but that's what he does. You know what I mean? So the offensive game wasn't there. We didn't see the jumpers or any of that stuff, and that's fine because last preseason we did, and we were all on our freaking knees over it. You know what I mean? So it's okay. It's okay that he didn't shoot. I know everybody's so worried that Ben Simmons didn't shoot. I'm not worried about that. We have guys on this roster who can shoot the basketball. I thought when Tobias got going, he played well throughout that game. I thought Danny Green defensively played well. Just going through it on why I think this roster is good enough to win 45 plus. So I thought Maxey. I mean, that runner is pretty. And that's what was his go-to at Kentucky, too. And that runner is pretty. So we talked about instant offense off the bench, and that's exactly what he gave you. And that's his first look. I mean, the kid lost 2 weeks, too, in this process as well, where you got to remember that because of COVID. So he lost 2 weeks. So, I mean, I thought that was a spectacular little, first game, show me something like what we thought you were going to be, which was instant offense. And that's what we're looking for off our bench, right? Mike Scott had a pulse last night. So, I mean, these are good, positive things because I think there's a whole new breath of fresh air through this entire organization, and that trickles down to the roster, right? Guys know when you're trying to win. Guys know when you're trying to put something real together. Guys know when a head coach is a guy they're going to respect. And if you watch Ben in warmups, I mean, he wasn't missing threes, which was crazy. But, like, it's just not his game, and he's got to get comfortable with shooting a little bit. But, like I said, he defended great last night again, right? And that's another thing that's so important for this basketball team. So, to our poll, the Sixers will finish with more than 45 wins this season. Agree or disagree? I'm going to agree. I know probably a lot of guys are going to go agree. If you disagree, let us know why, too. And I don't see how they don't without injuries. If everything's status quo with this roster, then they should have no problem getting over 45. Because this is like we didn't overrate our starting five last year. I think they're exactly what we thought they would be. Besides Al, but there was no bench. There was nothing off the bench that brought us offense, and we bitched and moaned about it. December, January, February. Okay, that's all we did. And now, like you're looking at last night's starting lineup with Seth and Danny Green in. So who was their first guy off the bench? It was Corky last night, I believe. Was their first guy off the bench. So Corky. Then they gave Maxey run later, but Mike Scott. So you sort of saw a little bit what he's thinking. Dwight Howard, I think, was the second guy off the bench with Cork. So good second unit. I'm excited. I mean, we didn't have a second unit like that. We didn't have a second unit where you're talking about, Dwight Howard and I don't know, Maxey and just a way better unit than what you had last year. I mean, think about last year's second unit. There was nobody. I mean, there was nobody at the beginning. There was nobody. And now you
10 times better than what you guys had last season coming off the bench.
And then you got Shake off the pine too. Instant offense had 19 off the bench last night. It's talking about when you coach kids up, and Doc talked all these good things about them. That helps kids' confidence too, right? When you think about it from the mental side of things, your coach keeps talking you up. Good stuff, right? So there's your guys on the bench. I mean, you talk about Dwight, Mike Scott, Maxey, Milton, and then you mix in Thybulle at 10 minutes. Bradley had 10 minutes. So, I mean, right around where I think guys should be if you're running a longer bench. You know what I mean?
Yep.
In the beginning of the year. So, I'm excited because we didn't even come close to that. Like, our backup center was Norvell Pell last year when it wasn't Horford. I mean, come on. I mean, and Horford was a shell of himself. At least we know what Dwight Howard brings. So, that's a great second unit. That's a great second unit.
Yeah, it's a very much improved second unit. Yep.
You're getting defense and rebounding from Dwight and the ability to play above the rim. Shake's going to give you offense. Looked like he controlled the offense really well last night. Mike Scott, listen, come in and hit a three like you did. That's all we're looking for, right? Because, Seth and Danny didn't have great games. But what did Danny Green do? 1 for 2 from 3, and at least they shot him. At least those guys you have to respect. And then I think that made Tobias Harris game easier. All right. So I'm jacked up. I can't wait for December 23rd. I can't wait when we can really dissect what we're seeing more. It's really hard going in with a new roster on what to expect. You don't want to overreact to anything in preseason, but you also want to be excited because you know the capabilities of this roster and you know the capabilities of Joel Embiid and everything runs through Joel Embiid now. I thought we saw a lot of that last night, more than we've seen. A lot of two-man games, which we didn't see last year. You didn't see two-man games like you saw last night. So there are a lot of good things to be excited about when you're talking about this season and moving forward. So, tell us, family, what do you think to the poll question? The Sixers will finish with more than 45 wins this season. Agree or disagree? Let us know. Chime in. We'll read as many off as we can, if not all of them. We love all you guys. Is he asking me what I'm talking about?
No, I think he was talking to Tori in the comments.
Oh, Neto.
Or maybe he was quoting about Raul Neto. I thought he was quoting the intro, but whatever.
Maybe.
Oh, that's great too. Quote away. Quote away. We love it. I see Ben saying, just to get some of these in, you guys go real quick. I don't want to get too backed up with them. So Ben, 51 wins is great. Yeah, come on.
Ooh.
That's one seed talk.
Yeah. The Sixers actually played good defense. Jalen Brown 1 for 11, and Tatum, I think I've made 4 shots with Ben on. You got guys who dog guys. Danny Green, dog and Jalen Brown. Ben Simmons, dog and Jason Tatum. All right, there's no Kemba last night. I get it. You know what I mean? But they're not going to have Kemba for a little bit. So
First month.
Nobody makes excuses for us when we had guys out. All right? No, it's preseason, but the defense translates regardless. And I think this is a Pomsy team like we thought they would be last year, and maybe even better. Rome says 54 wins. My own. You might as well just call. You might as well say they don't lose.
Holy moly.
Pete Evans, what up, Pete? He said, "Yo, fam, I need 45 plus wins." You're getting it. You're definitely getting it. I don't know. D. Gowan.
Drew Gowan.
Drew Gowan.
Yeah.
I said Maxey played like we wanted Fultz to play. Yeah, aggressive. Listen, you could talk about other things like anybody wants to talk about. Not you, Drew. Anybody wants to talk about the kid. Kid's a worker, kid's a grinder, and the kid's instant offense already. Some things you just can't teach. So, big time positive. Here we go. Mr. Miami Heat fan. Here he is. Jeremy. What's up, my brother? He said, I'm sorry, fellas. Another 6-seed finish in the East. Come on, Guru. You know we're better than that. All right. And expect a down year from your boys, too. All right. That's a lot of mileage on Jimmy Butler. He had a freaking, he had to come out with a Superman freaking cape on for you guys last year. You think he's going to pull that off again? He had like a month and a half to relax. Philly sports passion, 40-plus wins and a possible division title. I know it's preseason, but they look good. It's only 60 games. No, it's 72, brother. 72. Ben says, I live in Florida. I love my Philly sports, and you guys are awesome. Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Where in Florida are you? Or around?
Greg trying to do a meetup.
Jeremy, curious. I'm here.
Luncheon.
I know you. Big lunch guy. Loves lunch.
Lunch. What's lunch at work? What's lunch?
Will there be mellow yellows involved?
Shut up, Frank. There's probably 3 of them.
2 liters down here on sale. Buy 2, get 2.
Oh, there you go.
Mama M's got no room in the fridge.
Holiday special.
Nope.
Holiday
You
special.
open it and it's all yellow mellow.
Jeremy says, how many ever wins that is? I don't know what that was. You gotta come back with me with better. Minnesota. That's where my whole family lives. So Antron, what is it? Antron, right?
Antron.
I get your name right, brother. Doc is going to bring 50-plus wins this year. Maxey might be rookie of the year. Steal the draft. Steal the draft, in my opinion, at 21. It's a steal. Last couple, and then we'll get to you guys. CB Brown, 50 and 22. As long as they stay healthy, keep rocking, y'all. Yeah, I'm right with you, CB. I didn't want to go 50 because I'm scared of the health. at times just because, and I'm scared of like guys missing 2 weeks for COVID shit. So like I gotta like I'm trying to factor all that in to this craziness. So that's why I'm expecting like they'll get 48, 47, and then anything above that's a big time positive for me. You know what I mean? Big time positive. Every year I pick them to win the East. So I mean, at some point I got to comment. Rome says I think we got to play like 213, 215 Clippers with this roster. Explain what you mean by play like that. I mean, I think Doc's offense has been pretty much similar his whole career.
Lob City? Is he talking about Lob City? Is that what they were called? With Blake Griffin and everybody?
Yeah, Lob City.
Yeah, Lob City, yep.
With my favorite point guard, Chris Paul.
Oh, thanks, Frank.
He now plays for
Carol
Phoenix.
says 48 wins. Red Sand says 40 plus wins. Molly says 40 plus wins.
No, it's Wiz.
My Wiz 40 plus, and Sixers 47 plus.
Molly, where are you from? Because you got the Cowboys, now you're Wiz. Where are you at, man?
I'm going to say he's from Northern Virginia. That is my guess.
He's not wrong. I mean, I think the Wizards can get the 40.
Absolutely. I just know he's a Cowboys fan, so it's like now he's throwing the Wizards in there. I'm like, whoa, where we at?
He's equal opportunist, Greg. He's equal opportunist.
Equal opportunity fan.
He changed his to 48 plus. Okay.
Nice.
I'll still take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
What's up, Gav?
What's up, Gavin?
What up, Gavin?
Does Maxey steal the draft? Yeah, brother. We've all, a lot of us have been on that kick for sure. All right, to the poll. For you guys, the Sixers will finish with more than 45 wins this season. Agree or disagree? I completely agree, unless something like a train wreck happens. But you know, this is Philly sports, so anything's possible. Believe. Right? Why don't you go next? Since
I absolutely
get a corner down there tonight, so we'll let you go. I
absolutely corner.
I absolutely agree. No, I don't have it way over 45, but like we've talked about, first off, I agree with everything you've said so far, Tom. But we also have to remember that this GM and Daryl Morey in this organization, and even Doc Rivers, they came in here to win now. And like Daryl Morey's talked about ever since he made those first two moves, getting rid of Al Horford and then trading away Josh Richardson and bringing in some of these guys who have looked very, very good, by the way, so far, which I know we'll touch on later. He always talks about having bullets of ways to trade, right? And he didn't want to get rid of all those bullets right away. He could have made 6 trades if he wanted to in the first 2 days. He could have, but he said, hey, we're going to see, we're going to experiment. We're going to see how things play out with our core, and we're going to go from there. We all know, and I mean, it's tough to say. Oh, Donovan, I mean, Donovan. I'll just stop right there. I would just stop right there. First off, thank you, Donovan.
Most improved player. Jake Milton will win most improved player.
I agree.
I mean, he's got to, for that to happen, Don, he's got to drop like 18 a game plus.
Yeah.
Like for that to happen, like most improved. It's a big league. A lot of guys improve.
Plus coming off the bench too. You know what I mean?
Off the bench. So I mean, to me, he's got to go. I'll say 17 plus. To be maybe 16 plus and doing other things get you in the conversation of like top 5. But I think he's got to like. I don't say wow, but what did he average last year? I don't know off the top of my head.
I was just pulling it up right now.
I want to say 11. 11?
No, 9.4.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I mean, he's got the most improved.
Almost double that.
He played in 40 games. He started 24. He averaged 9.4. So I mean, doubling that at a minimum. But I don't necessarily think that's out of the question. But I think if he's going to win most improved, more than likely that he's probably already won 6th man of the year then, right? Because that would be kind of that thought process, right? If he's most improved, he's most likely 6th man.
Well, this goes back to, when we were doing bold predictions last week, and, I know you and I, Greg, kind of intertwined them. I think you and I had the same one, and Ralph had the other player. Greg and I both had Shake Milton as a 6th man of the year candidate. That was one of our predictions, just because last night was just a small sample size. Like, I don't want to get too excited, but everything we saw last night goes exactly with what Doc Rivers has been talking about since he's gotten here, to where he said he's going to, quote unquote, unleash Shake Milton. I never knew that was going to be a phrase before to Shake Milton, but it's basically, hey, he came in here, he saw the potential of the kid to be a younger Lou Williams with 3 years of control, by the way, who's cheaper, and also who has more of a defensive capability. And he said, listen, I'm going to just let him be him. And clearly he saw what Shake Milton can be last year when Shake dropped 30-plus against the Clippers. So, I mean, he had a front row seat to that. So if he's going to do this all season to where he's just going to let him go out and score, be 6th, 7th off the bench, be that backup point guard, run the team, play alongside Ben, just be a flat-out scorer in so many roles, then he's got a real shot. Because if he's getting all that time, the only person that can stop him from being this is Shake Milton. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's getting the opportunity.
I like Shake. I just don't want to like get too crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just don't want to get too crazy. Like, we're talking most improved. We're talking 6th man of the year. Like, that's aggressive talk. Like, that's big time numbers to be in that conversation. Like, you're talking 6th man of the year. He's got to average 20 off the bench. Like, you know what I mean? It can't be like 15. Like, it's got to be 20. Like, he's got to be that good night in, night out. That's the difference maker in this league. He's had really good nights, and he's had nights where he wasn't there. I think with the pressure not being with the starting unit can help you in that role. I think good coaching can help you in that role of being more consistent. But like, I just don't. Shake's a good young player, and I want him to continue to develop. And I don't want to put like he's like it won't be a disappointment if he's not 6th man of the year. Like if he jumps up to 14 a game, that's a big win for this basketball team. Okay, it's a big win. He jumps 5 points a game. That's development. That's getting better. That's somebody that we know. Okay, this guy night in, night out can play at an NBA level. At times last year, it did not look like he could play at an NBA level. There was times he looked like more of a G League player, right? And then there was other times he's like, wow, he can play at this level. So part of being young and part of not being a high pick, right? All factors into it. But I mean, I like Shake at SMU. You know, I like this whole game. He's smooth. He doesn't look too flashy. So, I mean, it's a great question, Don. And it's a great topic. I don't want to get off too far off, but when you drop a 50 burger, we'll get off topic. So, right, I know you were in the midst of that when
I'll just add real quick, you know, so these guys can go because I know Shake's going to be in one of our agree or disagree questions later, but I really just believe that if there's something wrong with this roster, Morey is going to do everything to fix it. And that's not me saying he's going to trade away one of the two big stars in Simmons or Embiid, but there's ways to trade and add pieces to this roster. Say it's another guard, you can do that. If it's another wing defender, we can do that. There's flexibility with this roster now. You're able to do that. And even if you wanted to make the big splash, that's also a possibility as well. So I absolutely have him more than 45. I've got him 47. It's not because I'm enthralled with this roster. It's because I believe it's figuring out who that core is and building from there. This isn't the finished roster, but it's a really good start based off of where we were 3 months ago.
Well, what we learned real quick, and then I want you guys to go to the point of, you know, Morey and doing what he's got to do. You know, everything ran through James Harden we learned today. You know, I mean, that news surfaced today on James Harden and Houston since like 2012. I mean, everything, all trades and decisions went through him, which is mind-boggling in a way. So how much control did Daryl Morey have? And maybe another reason why he wanted out of there. So, I mean, everything starts to add up. You start to connect the dots as this thing continues to go on. And, you know, it makes sense that I don't believe this would be the finished product if they weren't playing up to snuff. I think this roster will play up to snuff, and that's why I don't see a big move coming. But listen, you know what I mean? Sometimes you get a move in front of your face and you just can't turn away too. So we'll see how that goes. I'm just excited for this specific roster and just NBA basketball coming back where we have something besides just football. So whoever wants to go next on the poll, let it rip.
Oh, I'll go next.
Okay.
Thanks, Frank. Ralph. Sorry, Frank.
It's okay.
Oh, hey, Frank, I didn't see you up there.
I know. I had this wonderful gag ready to go for Greg, and look, And look, it's pointing at Doug and Carter Hart, so it's not even going to work. So it's ruined.
To the poll question, I completely agree. I think last week's show we did the over-unders for the wins, and I think Vegas had them at 45.5, and I had them over. I think they win at least 47 to 48 games this year with the squad that you guys have. And Tommy, you touched on it. I mean, the way that your bench is right now, it's the most depth that you guys had in the last 4 years now with the talent that you guys have on the bench now, which can, help you guys out a lot, especially with, interchanging lineups and stuff like that. And I don't know how long did they last with Danny Green and Seth last night together? Did they do a whole quarter or what?
Yeah, I think that they only played. I actually pulled those up. Danny Green only played 13 minutes. Seth only played 24 minutes.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't think I watched the second half. I saw more Seth than I did. I don't think I saw Danny in the second half.
We saw Danny in the very beginning, and then we never saw him again.
Yeah, and just going back on that, and what Tommy said earlier. What'd you say, Tommy?
You know why? He's taking it easy on his legs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's getting traded tomorrow. No.
They're shopping him. They're shopping him.
Yeah, right.
They gotta call. They gotta call mid-game. They gotta put him on ice.
You quick guys with this turnover. I mean, you guys will turn rosters over every week. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are like you guys are playing NBA 2K. Like, if you guys could turn a roster over every year, like completely over, you guys would. You know what I mean? It's hysterical. I know Greg.
Danny could shoot 15 for 15 from 3, and Greg would be like, you know what? He's still in the block. He's still out there if anybody wants him.
My GM just said it. He wants bullets. That's a pretty good bullet.
Yeah. But to the poll, I'll move on. To the poll, I completely agree. I think they win more than 45.
I just can't win him. I mean, this guy would trade. This guy would trade everybody in his household down there right now too. For like a 12-pack of Mellow. And a Mellow to be named later. You know what I mean?
Making a Coke freestyle machine, everyone's gone. Like unlimited. I don't need no cans. Just give me the fountain. Just underneath,
Bro, man, you don't like. What do you like about him? That everywhere he's at, he wins. What don't you like about him? He plays great defense. Plays really good defense. All right, negativity city. All right, we big preseason win last night.
Did you see his earlier comment, by the way, Tom?
big win last night. For
I'm not doing this tonight. I'm not. This isn't a show to talk fucking a million trade scenarios. Okay, guys, I'll do a show when the deadline's almost here, and I promise you all that we'll talk a million trades for everybody. Right now, if I hear another trade comment, I'm removing the person from the stream for 5 minutes. They get put in timeout, and I'm muting a comment. If anybody else talks about any trades through the rest of this goddamn stream in the chat or on this or us, okay, mud home. Freaking, we got and we're dealing with it's hard to trade guys because you got to go through the protocols and all the crazy shit. It's a lot going on. Can we just be happy? We have a different roster than last year. My God, we want to flip a roster we just got over. We just got it. Brand new. It's like a Christmas gift. Yeah. You give me the Xbox. Yeah, maybe I'm going to trade it for the PlayStation.
I want the PlayStation anyway.
I don't want it.
I didn't want this.
I'm going to Nintendo Switch. It's different. It's right, something different. I love it. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at you, but every time you jackasses want to bring up any of the T word, guess what starts happening? I start seeing Levine, and I want to punch the computer screen in the face.
What about? Can we use the word exchange?
No.
Okay.
No. You guys are on a month ban from exchanges. Talk to me in a month if we stink, and I'll exchange everybody.
We could be like Woj on draft night when he can't announce a pick, so he's got to use the words. They're focused on trade.
They're leaning towards.
Yeah, they're leaning.
They have surrounded Tyrese Maxey. The Sixers have surrounded Tyrese.
They surrounded him and tied up in a sack and drug him to Philadelphia.
What?
They dragged him in a sack, Tyrese Maxey, to Philadelphia.
And I do agree. I do completely agree with Brinks, and I usually don't do that too often. Trades don't happen.
Christmas miracle.
And that's the last time I'm going to mention that. Robert, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. He looks like he's 500 pounds. Can we stop it?
He could play for the
Hardy. We're like James Hardy's. Jeez.
Guy just lied to an entire fan base. Oh, I was working out in Vegas. Shut the.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it. Definitely looks like it.
I work out every day too.
You might look better in that uni. I mean, maybe not, but of course. Close. Greg, Frank, what do you guys say to the poll?
Go ahead, Frank.
All right, I'll go. I actually agree with the poll. You're welcome for me setting up that poll question. Yeah, I actually do agree with the poll. I was watching the preseason. Yeah, I came up with it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Frank.
No, it's riveting. I mean, you took credit. You took credit for maybe a top 5 easiest poll question of all time. That's what you did. No, I love you, but you just took credit. That's what you just took credit for. I want you to re-listen to that later and think about what you just said.
Okay.
Take a lesson from that.
You're doing good, Frank.
Frank did the poll. See that thing down there? That's on Frank. Send all regards to Frank. Frank, you want to
give me another 50. I actually agree with the poll. From what I saw this preseason game, I'm really liking where this team is going. I actually have them at 48 wins this season.
Nice.
And going to the standings, I don't know if we're going to get to the standings yet, but originally I had the Sixers at 4. I now have them up to 3. I have them as the top 3 team in the East.
You've redeemed yourself.
I have redeemed myself. Yes. Yeah, I'm not going to say the dreaded T word. I mean, going into the standings in case of a certain trade regarding a certain player that's not going to end up on the Sixers is going to happen. I have the Sixers put at 3, and it's coming soon. It's coming soon. I'm really excited for basketball. Let's do this. 10-9-8.
Greg, your turn, buddy.
No, I agree.
What are you eating?
I agree. I think
I'm in.
When we did last week, I think I went under, but I just was only under by a game or 2. And I'm not saying yesterday was the only thing that swayed it. It's just, maybe a little bit of the excitement. You know what I mean? We get Sixers back. We get a little bit of excitement. I'm in that 46 to 48 range. Not hugely over. But also as I was, doing some research here, the over-under that OddsShark has is 44.5, and the under they have at -130. So that kind of tells you
that again, Greg?
OddsShark has it at 44.5, but the over is a -130, which kind of leads me to believe that they expect them to go over. You know what I mean? Under is even money. So that kind of makes you almost, like you said, thinks that it's going to go over. Vegas usually is right, so I'm going to roll it over.
All right. So has anything when it comes to the standings, has anything changed for any of you guys where you had them originally? I know Frank, bumped them up 1. Has anything changed for you guys? I mean, I still have them 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think when we did the standings, I think I had them top 3, and that's where I'm going to leave them. I think they're a top 3 team, easily.
Nah, I still have them 4.
Greg,
I still have them 5. KD came back and KD looked good. You know what I mean? That was kind of one of those wait and see things. And I know it's 1 game, but we're also basing ours off of 1 game as well. I still don't see the Heat making by the end of the year, though. I think they can be a 2 or a 3. There's no question about it.
As did I with Miami. I have Miami at 2.
Wow, you guys have them that high, huh?
I'm talking Sixers.
Oh.
I think by the end of the year, they could be a 2 or a 3.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question in that. But right now, where I have them slated is still in that 5 spot.
Frank, you have the Heat at 2?
I do have the Heat at 2.
Wow.
I just think that we defend better than teams, and I think that's a difference maker. Right? For anybody that's got them 4 or 5, like I understand it because you're scared of it almost.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, that's a big part of it. Yep.
Yeah.
There's not a team in the East that defends better. It's just it's just that simple. There just isn't.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong, but we said that the past few years.
But last year, our best defensive player was out the whole fucking bubble. So it's you can't count it. You just can't count it. Like, you can't lose him and count anything. Like, it doesn't work.
I'm not even talking bubble, even in a season too. You know what I mean? When you're historically dreadful on the road, a lot of that's defensively minded.
Well, we talked about why we were dreadful on the road, Greg. We had nobody come over bench to drop 20.
I don't disagree.
The rest of the league had it. We didn't have anybody.
And don't forget, too, that now you have essentially, if Danny Green is in the lineup, whether you love Danny Green or hate Danny Green, his perimeter defense is actually really good. So, I mean, now you have Ben Simmons guarding the perimeter, and you have Danny Green is up there as well, too. So, I mean, you have two guys in your starting five that can guard and get palmsy, as Tommy loves to say.
And you got a guy protecting the backside of it, too.
Yeah. You know? And Joel down here, Joel down low. Yeah, absolutely.
I know we say that we had a good defensive team last year, and a lot of that was based off of Ben and Joe. You know, and we thought Al always played good defense, so we assumed he would, but that just wasn't a fit. But we got to remember something. Like, you know, we had no bench. We played bad on the road, but we also fired the coach that we thought was a big part of this, and a big part of this roster. And this roster's different now. You know what I mean?
The only reason why I still have them at 4, again, it's not necessarily a representation of the Sixers. It's just the 3 teams that I have ahead of them. I just think that they're a better team now than they were last year. I think the Nets definitely got better with the addition of those two. Even though, you know, because I say addition for Kyrie because he really didn't play that much last year. And then Durant's obviously huge. You know, you look at the Celtics, I believe they're a better team than they were last year with the addition of, obviously, Tristan Thompson and Teague and some of their young kids. And then I think Milwaukee's better than last year.
I mean, I would say, okay, the Celtics aren't better than last year until Kemba's back on the court. You know what I mean? That's just the facts of the matter. I mean, that's one of their max players. I Tatum's a stud, Brown's a stud. I get that, but like, they're not who they are without him too. So
that's fair.
No, I agree there.
That's why I don't have them above us. So everybody that's throwing the Celtics above us, I think it's freaking stupid. We just showed. I mean, Ben Simmons just showed you last night when he's on the court versus Tatum, he shut them the hell down. I don't know what else people need to see. So he does it. So who's going to cover Durant? Well, you already know who's covering Durant. Simmons. So go. There's another guy. Now he usually gets buckets against everybody. We're going to find out. But I think when it comes to head-to-head, I think we're better than some of these teams. We always play Milwaukee tough because we're long. You know what I mean? Yeah. They got better, sure, but so do we. You know what I mean? So did we. You know, and sometimes on paper, you know, the big names isn't necessarily the ones who are going to win it for you in terms of this. Like, I don't know what the Nets are. They got to play together. I got to see them. You know what I mean? It's all well and good until I see Kyrie play 70 games. You know what I mean? If the guy plays 20 games, the Nets aren't the same team. So all that factors into it. You know what I mean? When's the last time Kyrie Irving's played a full season? Or even 90% of his season? So it's like, you know, right now, there's a lot of unknowns with some of them teams too. Well, we have young guys that are coming up. Some of these other teams, you know, the Celtics got young guys getting better, obviously. The Nets are the only unknown. The Heat are good. The Bucks are good, obviously. But, like, I don't know. I mean, I think you can interchange a lot of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's also – you see how it goes.
Bill says, I agree with Greg. Bucks, Heat, Nets, Celtics will all be ahead of the Sixers. Another year look out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's unfair to put the Nets above us until they play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like, that's unfair. We win 50 games every year, and we did it with bad coaching and young players and no bench. So, I mean, the Nets are better than this automatically. Like, no, they got to play, dude. Durant's a pick, but they got to play. And it's not just going to be Durant. They need Kyrie. They're set up for Durant and Kyrie. They're not set up for Durant and fucking Dinwiddie and fucking LeVert, okay? They're set up with Durant. They're set up with Durant and Kyrie. That's how they're supposed to win. So, you know, I think our bench is better than some of these teams. You know, from what I saw the Celtics bench last night, You know, I don't love their bench per se. It's not bad. Bucks bench got a little bit worse, but they got a little bit more top heavy, right? So
yeah,
you know, they're 1 or 2 no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it's hard to do this because you there's so many like not unknowns, but there's unknowns how the season goes. You know what I mean?
And like we talked, like somebody said, Chase said, if Milton can drop 15 to 20 off the bench, that's the difference maker. He's extremely important. And, that's the thing. And there could be a guy like a Shake Milton or somebody off the bench or a Maxey, for example, that is way better than maybe we even expect that can make the big difference. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Sometimes a team only needs that one extra. I mean, you look at like this was obviously in the playoffs a couple years ago, but you saw Van Vliet. I'm not going to say he came out of nowhere, but he was that. I mean, you saw how important he was in that finals. He wasn't a starter, you know what I'm saying? But he was that extra piece to get them over the edge for the Raptors. Sometimes a team, especially in an Eastern Conference that is kind of bunched, because I think it's the Bucks 1, and then honestly, I think it's Nets, Celtics, Sixers that are. I mean, they could be within a game of each other. To be honest, they could end up with the same record, but they could be just one could be ahead of them just based off of matchup differential. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it comes down to that 6th, 7th player off the on the roster. That's like, okay, well, he's going to have a big year, so that could be a Shake Milton or a Maxey. That could be a Naismith on the on the Celtics or a Jeff Teague. Just somebody that's not coming out of nowhere, but somebody who's a huge contributor that could take them over the edge.
Well, I mean, go ahead, Tommy.
No, just real quick about just real quick about the Nets. Like it's a guy who's never coached too, and Steve Nash.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I can't put them in the top 3 yet. Like it's just I can't. Like there's nothing known there. All right, outside of like Levert and Dinwiddie, right? Like in terms of on what's been on their team. Like we know what Durant is, and then Kyrie's the X factor. I think the fair place to put the Sixers, honestly, fair down the board, and not having an agenda behind it is 3. Like I think that's where they deserve to be. I mean, you're talking about all these other teams got better. We're talking about we upgraded 5 players or 4 players.
Yeah,
4 players at least. And Dwight, Maxey, Seth, and Danny Green. That's 4 players right there. And then hopefully Shake Milton better. So what were you saying, Ralphie?
No, going back to Ryan's point about, having a guy coming off the bench or having a difference maker off the bench. I mean, look at Miami last year. I mean, a guy in Duncan Robinson who, bounced around for some teams ever since he got into the league, really caught his stride at the end of the year and was coming off the bench, and it seemed like he was having unreal games for them every single night. And then obviously led into the bubble and into the playoffs and then even into the finals where he just went off that. I think it was game 4. He had almost 30 points, and he couldn't miss that game.
How about this question now? Since we're talking about Shake and we're in that conversation right now a little bit when we were talking about him and his importance and all that. So, one of the questions was Shake Milton is the biggest key to the Sixers' success, not named Embiid or Simmons. Do you agree or disagree with that, guys? Shake Milton is the biggest key to the Sixers' success, not named Simmons or Embiid. I will say disagree because I'm going to go. I know a lot of you guys will agree, so I just know where that's going. So I disagree because I'm looking at Dwight Howard and I'm looking at a guy. I'm looking at a sleeper like Maxey that nobody's really like talking about. Like rookies can come in and be impactful right away. It happens all over the league. Or he comes in and he's dropping 15. So, I'm looking at a guy that I'm looking at them 2 as being, to not name one, but I think them 2 are way more important. I need that backup center role out of Howard. It's so important for Embiid. I need him to be on the court, and I need Tyrese to be that instant offense because I know he can be. I know like that's his thing. He can be quick, instant offense. So I'll just go disagree just because I know sort of where you guys are going to go.
I'll go real quick. I go disagree. I think it's Tobias. He's got to be more reliable. He's got to reinvent what he was. Isn't that the perfectly sum up his Sixers career pretty much? Mm-hmm. I mean, you're not foolish for forgetting about him, Tom, because he kind of looks like he's just running around out there for the most part, and that needs to stop. I know it was one preseason game last year and they're rusty, so I'm not basing it off of that game, but I'm basing it off of all of last season. He just looks freaking slow. He's not and I know a lot of it's because he gained, he wanted to gain weight. That way he can help with the defensive thing, and he wanted to be more of a defensive specialist. That's all fine. But the whole thing is he needs to be that scorer that we traded for. He needs to be that flat out reliable scorer, especially in the fourth quarter that we signed him to that big money. You know what I'm saying? And when you have Doc Rivers, there's no excuse on, it's the coach. That's the guy that brought you to the situation where we said, hey, we're going to trade him and extend him. It was because of the Doc Rivers system. Say that again, Greg?
And Maxim.
So to me, and also you look at that fourth position, the depth really behind them, it's Mike Scott and Paul Reed. You've got to be a huge contributor. I've said it, Ralph asked, it was a great question last week. He said, who's the second leading scorer, Ben or Tobias? And I said, well, it should be Tobias. You know what I'm saying? Because he averaged, I think, 21, 22 last year.
Yeah.
And when you go back and they say they're going back to his system in Los Angeles, that should go up a little bit, especially in the fourth quarter. He's got to stop with these games where he disappears and he's, I don't know, 4 for 12 with 10 points. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he only does it, right? He only does that shit in the playoffs, really.
Yeah.
Like, he only really disappears in the playoffs. Most of the time, he's okay. And, like, the great thing about, like, forgetting about him isn't because he's not a talented dude. It's because we have a lot of other guys to talk about finally. You know what I mean? The pressure isn't, like, fully on him either.
Yeah.
Like, to your point, I agree with what you're saying 100%, right? Totally do. The great thing is the pressure's not on him, though, to be that most important part. You know what I mean? Because there's other guys, and there wasn't other guys last year.
Which makes his job even easier. No one's talking about him. People are talking about Shake and Maxey more than him. Hell, people might be talking about Dwight Howard more than him. The microscopes is definitely on Simmons because everyone's saying, that could be Harden in 2 months. Everyone's looking at Embiid because he's the biggest star. Everyone's like, And then they're looking at the new toys and Danny and Seth. Like, everyone's like, Tobias? Oh, that's right. He's making Anthony Davis money. That's right. That's fun. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everyone's kind of like, oh, yeah. Remember that?
What do you guys say?
I go disagree as well. And the reason why, if you would have asked this last year with the stuff that you guys had last year, I would have said I completely agree. But this year, I mean, you guys have Danny. If somebody's struggling, right, you have Danny you can lean on. You have Seth to lean on. You have Korkmaz off the bench you can lean on, and obviously Shake and Maxey and all them. So I think I totally agree with you too, Ryan, with the whole spotlight thing off of Tobias, right? Where you have guys that can take the pressure off of Tobias, where it's like not him going, damn, I got to be the man again. I got to bail us out again, and the spotlight's on him, and then he doesn't make the shot, and then he hears about it for 2 weeks until he makes a game-winning shot. So I think this is a perfect time for Tobias to go off this year and at least have some of the numbers that he had with the Clippers. But I this year I disagree.
No, I do too. You're right. You're right, Ralph. Last year you probably would have said him because he was you needed some offense off your bench. So great points for being a Lakers crumb.
Yep.
Real quick, Tristan,
that's what I'm here for,
Tristan had one for you, Ralphie. Did you want Howard to stay?
I did want Howard to stay. I thought he played well last season. For the money that we were giving him, I thought he played terrific last year, and I definitely wanted to bring him back. But, hey, I hope he does well in Philly. You got a heck of a player still, man.
Well, let me tell you something. They don't win that chip without him.
Nope. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, about all the
I agree with that.
All the contributors, but they're definitely a better team. But, yeah. What do you guys say, Greg, Frank?
Go ahead, Frank.
All right. I agree to Tom's disagree.
Huh?
I agree to Tom.
Did you make this one?
No. But I agree to disagree.
I did. Hey, I did.
No, I did.
No, I did.
Read what's on the prompter, guys. They call me Sean Brace.
Hi, my name is Adrian Fedq, and welcome to the Sports Fix.
Oh, wow.
I'm here to plagiarize y'all.
Just cut right here.
Here, you could be the sixth listener on 102.5 The Gambler.
Oh dear! Oh dear! Here we go.
Did I gotta listen to them?
Instead of unleashing Shake Milton, we've unleashed Frank. Jesus!
I think we gotta piss him off a little bit more.
Okay.
Nah, I'm good.
I like this game. I like this game, Ralphie.
No.
Go ahead, Frank.
Your polls suck, Frank. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I agree to Tom's disagree, so I will leave it at that regarding Dwight Howard.
So you disagree?
What about
I
Shake Milton?
disagree.
Okay.
I said 2 names. I didn't just say Dwight.
I know, but I like your point on Dwight.
So you're going Dwight as the most
I'm
important.
going with Dwight.
Okay.
I'm also going to disagree. I think if Shake was in the starting lineup, you can make a bigger case for agree. But if you listen to Joel last night, again, I'm not even basing. I didn't even see Joel play. But he said to Chris Webber and Marv Albert that, he's got shooters that he can trust again, right? And he went back to when in 2017, when he had JJ and Cove, where if they doubled him, those guys were able to make them pay. And he made a point to say that in, the post-game interview for that. So for that, I'm going to go the combination of Danny Green and Seth Curry as being those dead-on shooters to hurt the double team. Because then Joel's like, you got to double. You double me? I got guys that are going to stroke the ball. If you don't double me, I'm a bucket and a foul going in.
Who are you?
Greg.
Somebody take you, swap you out? We get like a swap out here because
It's a haircut.
I mean, you beg for the guy to get traded for freaking a month now since he got here, and now he's your most important.
He's shopping him. He's talking good about him, so somebody wants him.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, Tom. The thing was for me with Danny was it was never about Danny. You know what I mean? My thought on that was the bonus of that trade was getting Danny. The huge advantage was just getting out from Al. You know what I mean? Like whatever we got back from that was exactly that, a bonus. And in my mind, I just thought that mid to high expiring contract was appealing to other teams that would make it easy for Morey to keep shuffling the deck. It has nothing to do with Danny. I like Danny. It's just a gut feeling I had knowing who our GM was.
No. I mean, listen, for sure. I mean, but then again, now I know that, he wasn't really as much the mover. He was a mover and shaker, but he really wasn't the only one in control down there on what happened. So that changes some of my thought process on being maybe a little too aggressive, because sometimes a little too aggressive gets you burned. That's all. Sometimes being a little too aggressive gets you burned. We got a ton more questions, but the next one I want to do with you guys is I want to see how, gun to your head, shape out the East for me. 1 through 8. Hey, LaMelo, he's back, baby. Good rookie debut. Preseason. You look like Ben distributing the basketball.
And not scoring.
Not scoring. But then again, we don't need – Ben's going to get his. I don't care about preseason. Ben's going to average – I know you're not.
The ball, so.
I know you're not. Great haircut. I know you're not. I'm saying that he's going to get 15 plus a game. We already know this, okay? I'm not worried about him. And I'm not as much worried about him because of all the other names we talked about.
He's got a prediction.
All the other
scores. Boy.
Yeah. I'm holding my breath. What you got?
I have a feeling. I know. I have a feeling. He hasn't typed it in yet.
All right. So the next one is I want to know how you guys rank out the standings here, and why. And then, like I said, we got a bunch more. We'll talk a little Maxey. We got a little MVP question. We got a little Harden question. We got a Simmons one, and then we got some most likely to happen scenarios for the Sixers. Which team this year will be the most disappointing around the league. We'll talk about which team will make the biggest improvements around the NBA. So a lot of fun stuff. Stay with us tonight. And then at the end, we'll get in the little Eagles-Cardinals preview, predictions, chance for you guys to win some money. We still do that through Eagles season. So we're givers here. We are givers. All right, I'm not going to say the next thing. All right. So and I know we're going to do some NBA over/under record predictions too. So we'll go to one of the gambling sites and we'll pull it up and we'll do some over/unders there too. So a ton of basketball to talk about with basketball right on the horizon. It's exciting. If you just joined us, our poll was the Sixers will finish with more than 45 wins this season. You agree or disagree? I believe it was a clean sweep on this board. on agrees. And I think you should, unless something drastic happens, right? And let's cross our fingers, pray to whoever you pray to. And I can't do it. Oh, LaMelo! I'm predicting that in the next year or two, Sixers will win a championship and 2 awards. I don't know what awards. You guys
Probably MVP, possibly.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Probably. Marquise, time when we talk about
Oh, there's that word.
for Max Player play by a role again in Game 7, y'all going to be on here reading my obituary. Oh, you talking about Tobias? Is that what you're talking about, I guess? Okay, I mean, listen, dude, Tobias can go tomorrow for me, but I also, I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not, you know me about Tobias. I mean, he comes up small in the biggest games. Hopefully that changes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's as simple as that. All right. I'll go last because I'm gonna do my piss at the hour here.
Go right ahead.
Shut the fuck up. Right. What are we doing? I mean, Luke, you weren't here at the beginning. I said to knock it off with the trades. But he said, Luke Brown said, would we take Harden if it means we keep Ben and Joel? This is the only thing I'm going to say.
Yes.
I'm going to get different here. I'm going to say no. And I'm going to tell you
why. No as well.
I'm going to tell you why I'm saying no to it. I'm saying no to it because the way you got to make that deal done is you got to give up probably 3 guys, right? Mm-hmm. For them to entice you. So now your bench that we've been praising gets a lot shorter.
Yeah.
Not as good.
Yet again, you're top heavy.
Last 2 years were top heavy. Last 2 years were top heavy. It didn't work out for us. I don't need to be top heavy. I trust in Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid to continue to get goddamn better. Okay? That's what I got to build around. James Harden does not build around them 2 for me. And then I'm building around James Harden, who's a crumb, a loser, and hasn't won shit. And I don't care about Chris Paul's stupid goddamn hamstring. I don't care about it. So that's my thing. So I hear you, Luke. A couple weeks ago, probably would have said yes. But after the freaking nightclub bullshit and him not even showing up, he just proved to me how much more of just a crumb I knew he was.
Can we just show the picture of him again?
Damn it, Frank! I just put her away.
Nothing against heavy guys.
Okay.
There he is.
Look at
that. Look at him.
Look at Jason Peters.
You can slap it on a PS2 cover and call it Big Chungus. That's what he looks like.
Oh, dear Jesus.
Wow.
This guy. Luke says
I didn't say it.
And Luke, I respect people that would say yes to it too. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's agree disagree radio. So it's fine. But I think we're good. And you're gonna hear where I got him. I think we're gonna be really good. Really good for the first time in a minute. Where we're really confident.
Since 01. Yeah.
Like we've been good because we went in 50 games. But like I almost feel like that. You know that like that stretch in 2017 when we were just like, we were 17-1.
No, 18-0. You went 18-0.
18-0, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I just feel them stretches coming. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's 2 of them stretches this year where you're like a 17, like whatever, you're a 16-2 pace. And you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like I think them things are coming. I really do. I'm excited. So go ahead, guys. Tell me where you rank everybody out 1 through 8. It's the final time you're allowed to do it. So tread lightly.
Go ahead, Ralph or Greg.
All right. I'll go first.
I'll go second to last.
Okay.
Here we go.
We're doing Eastern Conference, right?
Listen. We'll get to the LA talk when we get to more of a West Coast time here.
I know.
Don't worry. We're coming.
It's only 7 out there. We got to get into like 8 or 9.
Plenty of time, Ralphie. We'll talk about them. We'll get to them.
They're still working out there, Ralphie. They're not even home from work yet.
I know. It's crazy, huh? So my standings in the East is going to be Bucks 1, Boston 2, Sixers 3, Nets 4, Heat 5, Raptors 6, Wizards 7, Pacers 8 are my standings in the Eastern Conference. So I'll do it again. Bucks 1, Boston 2, Philly 3, Brooklyn 4, Miami 5, Raptors 6, Wizards 7, Pacers the 8th seed.
Wizard. I like the Wizards, Ralphie. I like it.
All right, Frank, you want to go?
Sure, I will go. All right, so for my Eastern Conference standings, I kind of did mine a little bit different.
That's okay.
Because going into this year,
1 through 8.
I know, but because
we had a
of
tournament system going.
because of the new play-in system, it kind of.
I knew he was going to do it.
Yep. So I do have a 1 through 6, then my 4 play-in teams, and who's going to advance from there?
Gotcha.
And,
Yep, because it's 10. You got to do 10, Ralphie. So you actually didn't do it correctly.
Welcome to Wednesdays, Greg.
Ralph,
right,
no, Frank's actually right. You should have done 10, Ralphie.
Ryan,
hey,
just
look
let
at
Frank
that.
go.
When do I ever side with Frank? When do I? You should
Not
have
a
done
lot,
10.
but let's just get Frank. Go ahead, buddy. Do your 1 through 10.
All right, so my Eastern Conference standings, my top 6. Here we go. I got Milwaukee, Miami, the Sixers, Brooklyn, Boston, Washington at 6. Now my 4 play-in teams, I have Atlanta, Toronto, Indiana, and Charlotte. And the 2 teams to advance from the play-in, I'm going to go with Toronto and Atlanta.
Oh, so Atlanta makes the playoffs.
Atlanta sneaks in as the 8th seed.
Or the 10 seed.
I agree with Atlanta. I just
They get 8
Washington more.
according to the format.
I just like Washington more. I just think Atlanta's just still too young to at least make. I think they'll be in a conversation like Frank had them for the play-ins and stuff like that. I just think Washington right now has the upper hand on them just because they have Westbrook and Bradley Beal.
Greg?
So I'm going to go.
There you go, Frank.
Can I get a deal with Big Baller Brand LaMelo? Or at least some stock in it, whatever's left of it.
Greg?
I'm going to go Bucks, Celtics, Sixers, Nets, Heat, Toronto, Indiana, and I'm going to buy into the Russell Westbrook Washington Wizards as well.
Nice. Good man.
And then if I have to go further to get 10, I will go Atlanta.
I'm just following the commissioner's rules.
No one follows the commissioner's rule. He's an alien. I will go Atlanta at 9, and I will go my second favorite team, the Orlando Magic, at 10.
Oh, there he is.
Nice.
There it is.
I sent Tom and everybody, Tom Wilson and Sweeps a screenshot or a photo of the sports page down here in Orlando on Sunday, and it was, well, Markel, this is your season. And I'm like, this either has good news for Sixers fans or bad news for Sixers fans written all over it, right?
That's amazing.
They're already seeing their new toy, Cole Anthony, and they're like, ooh, okay, all right.
Markel's got competition.
Looks like Markel's going to be playing tennis in a couple of years. Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, oh yeah, that too. So for mine, I've got the Bucks with the 1 seed, the Nets 2 seed, Sixers 3, Celtics 4, Miami 5, Pacers 6, Raptors 7, the Wizards 8, and then the 2 play-in teams, I've got Atlanta and Chicago.
Nice.
Chicago.
Ooh.
So you had the Raptors dropping to 7.
Correct. Yes.
You had Indiana over them.
Yeah, I mean Indiana. I have Indiana.
Yeah, I mean I had them flop, so it's not like it's a huge departure. But
the thing with Atlanta that I think is kind of underrated all of their stars, at least right now, starting wise, they're all healthy finally together. You know what I'm saying?
Or Indiana?
Indiana.
Okay.
So they're, you know what I'm saying? The Brogdons, they're all together right now. They haven't had that whole unit together once.
No, absolutely.
So I'll read, because we were getting a lot of predictions in the comments, which we love. And if some people didn't send theirs already, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, send them in.
I just said that.
Would you spill, Ralph?
Send them in.
Philly Sports Passion has his Bucks 1, Nets 2, Sixers 3, Heat 4, Indiana 5, Wizards 6, Celtics 7. What?
Wow.
Celtics 7.
What? I mean, I love it, but what?
Wow.
The Raptors 8 and the 4, and then the play-ins, Atlanta and Orlando. I know Greg loves that. Anthony Adis goes Sixers win in the East. Bucks, Raptors, Celtics, Hawks, Heat, Nets, Wizards, and then the 2 playing team. Pacers going all the way down to 9. And once again, Greg will be happy because the Magic are in there at 10.
Season tickets on the way for Greg.
Chris goes
It'll be
Sixers.
delivered by Stuff the Dragon.
We've got another Sixers 1 seed prediction. We're going
nice.
Sixers, Nets, Heat, Bucks. Bucks at the 4 seed. Well, too bad Giannis signed yesterday because he's stuck there now. Wizards all the way up to 5. Okay. Boston at 6. Damn. I'm not mad, but wow. Pacers at 7, and the Magic are still there at 8. They're still here.
Well, then he updated his comment with a super chat.
Let's go.
Oh, yes. Let's go, Chris.
That, Chris.
He's got the Sixers, the Nets, the Heat, the Bucks, the Raptors, the Celtics, the Wiz, and the Pacers.
Sorry, Greg. The Magic are gone.
Oh, no.
But it was on a super chat, so that's fun.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
From earlier, Molly goes Bucks 1, Boston 2, Sixers 3, Nets 4, Heat 5, Indiana 6, Washington 7, and yours truly, the Magic at 8. I'm sorry, I'm not saying this because I like busting Greg's chops. I think the Magic stink. I just think they stink.
Yeah, and if I went a little bit further, I kind of did a little lottery list here. I have. These are the teams. I can get records, but
I can't read that, Frank. I can't.
I know. My lottery teams from the East, I got Cleveland, Orlando, Chicago, Detroit, and everybody's favorite, the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
Oh, and the lottery again, huh? For the 25th consecutive year.
Is that true? Is that a real thing?
No.
I was going to say what? You said that so smooth. I'm like, damn. Does he have that written on a piece of paper?
No, it just feels like it because every time you turn on the draft, it seems like they're getting robbed out of the top 3 picks.
Yeah, when was the last time they even not made the lottery? When Melo was on the team?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. So what, 2013 year? 2014, whenever he left?
Gavin has his. He has Bucks 1, Nets 2, Sixers 3, Celtics 4, Heat 5, Raptors 6, Wizards 7, Hawks 8. So he's got the Pacers just gone. Let's see, David. Keep these predictions coming, fam. We love these. There's a lot of them coming in. David says Bucks 1, Sixers 2, Nets 3, Boston 4, Raptors 5, Heat 7. Or no, I'm sorry, Heat 6, Pacers 7, Hawks 8. I'm waiting for I'm waiting for like a friggin' I'm waiting for I don't know, like I'm not a Bulls fan. I don't even know if they've come out of hiding since Jordan left, but like I'm waiting for like a crazy one to come out of here. Jarrell goes Bucks 1, Nets 2, Sixers 3, Heat 4, Atlanta 5. That's the highest we've seen Atlanta so far. Listen,
Raptors 8 seed.
Yeah, their coaching's too good. Their coaching's way too good.
Yeah, their coaching's too good, but we'll see what happens with the remnants of the post Ibaka, post Gasol. I think they still can compete, but I think they are going to take a.
And remember, they're not in Canada this year either.
They're in Tampa,
in Florida. So remember that too.
Yeah.
Real quick,
not
on
like
the Atlanta.
that.
Cold, so they don't have to worry about their bodies. Nice
Yeah.
and warm.
True. They might never want to go up to
Not
Toronto
under 2
again.
feet of snow.
Yeah, right. They just might move the franchise down there, huh?
They might have a
Probably.
strike being like, no, we're not going up there again. We're staying.
Yeah.
The Tampa
It's
Bay
too warm.
Raptors.
Yeah. Real quick,
Yeah.
have you seen their Christmas jerseys though? The Raptors Christmas jerseys?
No.
Oh, it looks cool. They're pretty cool.
Share your screen. Pull it up and share your screen.
I gotta find it. I'll put it in the back end. Put it in the back end.
That's what she said.
You know that. Oh.
Giggity.
Moving on. The real quick with the Atlanta Hawks. What do you think their ceiling is, guys? Because we know all the moves they made, but we know they're young. If everything goes, say Trae Young continues to be, say he's a top 4, top 5, maybe even top 3 MVP candidate. The additions of Rondo and now having Capella, and then Gallinari, and obviously they have a lot of other young stars there. What's their ceiling as far as seed wise?
If everything goes right, barring any crazy injuries, I do have them as a probably a 6 or 7 seed at the highest.
Yeah,
but knowing what is above them right now, you have the likes of Washington, Boston, Brooklyn, Sixers, Miami, Milwaukee. I mean, they're a ways away from being very serious contenders. They're on the right path, but they're a few pieces and maybe a couple years away.
Great.
Yeah, I can't put them any higher than 6.
That's right.
Best case scenario.
Yeah.
I don't think they're getting there this year, but I don't. They're on the path up. It's just you have to figure out what type of coach. His name's Lloyd. What's his last name?
Pierce.
Lloyd Pierce. Yeah, you have to see what he is. Right. He's always been dealt with a bad roster, so everyone's kind of giving him a pass on that. Right? Is he an actual legit NBA coach? Because now you do have talent and you have young talent too.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the way the East is structured right now, I think those top 5 teams, meaning Bucks, Sixers, Nets, Celtics, Heat, are kind of solidified.
Yep.
Barring any major injury. And so I think that only team, the Raptors, and you can almost count the Raptors there as well, but I think with losing their bigs, they might suffer a little bit. So I just can't put the Hawks any higher than 6.
And I think it might be the first time in a long time that the East might only have like one team that's under 500 going into the playoffs too. Because there's a good amount of teams that are good enough to be over 500 come playoff time.
LeBron goes west, everybody comes east.
Yeah, right.
That's the way it goes.
Yep.
Going back to the projected standings, we have a lot of them. Bucks. Jacob has Bucks 1, Sixers up to the 2 seed.
Nice.
Nets 3, Celtics 4, Heat 5, Wizards up to 6, Raptors at 7, the Hawks at 8.
Nice.
Red Sand has the Sixers being the 1 seed. Boston 2, Bucks all the way down at 3, Heat at 4, Hawks up to 5, Raptors at 6, Nets down at 7. Well, Kyrie's definitely out of there then. And then Indiana all the way down at 8. Let's see. Going on the Atlanta, a lot of people chimed in. Brendan saying 6 or 7 seed is their ceiling. I agree. David saying the perfect season would be around 5.
That would be
crazy.
Ideal.
Well, because to your point, Greg, they would need to be great, and one of the top 5 teams needs to really plummet. You know what I mean? Like you say, like you swapping out the Heat for the Hawks right now. I'm a little down on the Heat, but I can't do that yet.
Right.
You know
I agree. I agree with Tommy's theory behind the Heat of they played a lot of basketball in a short period of time, right? So you know what I mean? Like they're going to drop, but I still think they're too talented and too veteran led to drop that far. LaMelo's got a crazy one. What, your brother D'Angelo makes the league, actually?
No, he's got an impossible one. Bucks 1, Sixers 2, Nets 3, Celtics 4, Timberwolves 5. You know what's funny? By that? Other than the fact that it's not happening, obviously. If the Timberwolves were in the East, they would still not be making the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, very true.
Which is crazy to me because it seems like they've had so many picks, there's so many moves. You see, they got Towns, they got Russell, now they got Edwards. It's like figure it out.
I mean, this is what happens when, and you can even go back to the Kevin Love era when I think Kevin Love had like 47 straight games with the double-double, and I think they made the playoffs that year. But out of that year, they didn't even go far. And they never built around Kevin Love. They never gave him another guy to play with.
Yeah, and like everybody
and the same thing's happening now.
Right, and you were trying to build around Kevin Love, and either they didn't perform up to expectations or got hurt.
Yeah, right. And then obviously they traded Kevin Love to Cleveland that year for Andrew Wiggins, and then they got Cat the following year.
Yeah.
Nothing really happened with that, except for the year. Ironically, Jimmy goes there and he leads them to the playoffs the one year, and then they give him away the next year.
And then it's one practice, and then one practice with third stringers later.
I was going to say no, Ralphie. They didn't give him away; he gave himself away. He's like, I will start fighting everybody, or you get me out of here.
That's a great story. Great story. Running with the backups and just spanking the starters.
It's a great
spanking the starters in practice.
Yeah, you know what's even the best part about it? When I say best, I mean worst. We chose Brett Brown over him. Anyway, moving on. David's saying, question: what do y'all? Who do y'all think the best record would be this season, and what team? Lakers, probably. Yeah. Lakers, the Bucks.
I actually have the Lakers as my best team.
Ralphie, as the Lakers fan, who is it? I mean, just really reach down deep here.
The the team out on the West Coast, the best LA team. The one that didn't blow a 3-1 lead in the playoffs, after they talked all that smack all season. Now, as the cool kids would say, you just hate to see it.
Then why do you say it?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what, Greg? I'm not doing it tonight.
I mean, I think if anyone picks not the Lakers, there's, might be something loose in the head. I think the Lakers are the team that finished with the best record, even though LeBron's going to miss 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Hey, he's playing tonight, Greg. Okay?
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Great teammate.
Relax. It's preseason.
It doesn't count.
Oh, okay. Okay. Then everything you said about the Sixers tonight doesn't count because it's preseason.
What are you talking about?
Right,
he even admitted he only watched. Greg literally admitted he only watched the second half. What are you talking about?
Doesn't matter. It's only preseason.
Okay. Brendan says his predictions are Bucks 1, Nets 2, Sixers 3, Miami 4, Boston 5, Hawks 6, Wizards 7, Pacers 8. And he says, I have doubts on the Raptors. Think the losses of Gasol and Ibaka are going to hurt a lot more than some think. No, they're definitely going to hurt.
I agree with that.
I mean,
fair. I still think they make the playoffs.
We got to remember, we are talking about the Raptors that were a 2 seed last year.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if you look at ESPN's projections, they still have them as a 2 seed, winning 43 games.
And they've got the 2 seed at 43.
Yep.
Who's obviously Milwaukee's one. What's the number on that?
Bucks, Raptors, Celtics, Heat, Sixers, Nets, Pacers, Hawks, Wizards, Magic, Hornets, Bulls.
What are they giving the Bucks for number 1?
Yeah, what are their win totals for them?
40. It says average wins 44.5.
For the Bucks?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's low. Yeah, I mean, my whole thing, like I said, I'm down on the Raptors, but I think I've got them, 6th or 7th? That's because if you look at the projection, or you look at, the 2 seasons combined, I have them going from a 2 seed to a 6 or 7 seed. That's a huge fall. That's a huge fall.
Yeah.
Is there, I mean, so like I said, is there any chance that they miss the playoffs? Yeah, there's always a chance. Yeah. If some of their guys, get injured, and I'm not even talking injuries. If some of their guys disappoint, maybe Siakam takes a year, step back. It's like taking, instead of taking a huge leap forward that a lot of people expect him to have, then yeah, it's possible. Yeah. With also combining maybe the Wizards get better and the Hawks get better.
And to go back to the Raptors, will Fred VanVleet play up to that contract.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's the contract again? I mean, I want to say no because he got paid, but he's a good player.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Fred VanVleet signed.
That's true. Philly Sports Passion. He says ESPN is irrelevant. They're trash. A2D is the GOAT.
They're not even using I get it. You're absolutely right. But they're using their RPM projections, which they say outdoes.
Yeah, RPI. It's a
4.85.
4.85.
So
they have a group of nerds doing it. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have a nerd doing it. Okay.
Analytics.
That's so how he was doing the record predictions instead of doing scout footage for wide receivers. Then that's
right. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Just so we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Brian Joseph has Bucks 1, Nets 2, Celtics 3, Sixers 4, Heat 5, Raptors 6, the Pacers 7, and the Hawks 8. And I know somebody had a Western prediction, Ralphie, for you.
Yes. Do we want to segue into that?
Sure, real quick.
All right.
I gotta find the comments.
It was.
While you're looking for that, let me just read Marquise's. He says Boston, Sixers, Bucks, Heat, Raptors, Wizards, Pacers, Hornets. There's a Hornets one.
Philly Sports Passion had the West.
Okay.
Right below Marquise. And to start it off, he has the Clips 1.
Ralphie.
Ralph Lakers 2, the Mavs 3, Jazz 4, Nuggets 5, Pellies 6, Blazers 7, and the Rockets at 8.
No Suns? Philly Sports Passion 85? No Suns? Oh, no love for the Suns again.
No love for my favorite point guard, Chris Paul.
He plays in Phoenix now.
I've heard, Ralphie. I've heard.
Is that new? Is that breaking?
Is that breaking, Ralphie?
Yeah, he just got traded to Phoenix.
Wow.
Chris Paul.
Are you Neeson? Ralphie, what's your final Western Conference predictions?
All right. Well, here we go. Number 1.
It's like Ralph had this up ready to go.
Yeah, it's like he's been waiting for this for 6 months.
Lakers 1, Clippers 2, Mavs 3, Nuggets 4, Suns 5, Jazz 6, Warriors 7, Rockets 8.
And who's 9 and 10? Come on, we got to do the commissioner.
Come on now.
9 will be Memphis. 10 will be New Orleans, the Pelicans.
Wow, down on the Pels, huh?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'll go real quick. And fam, chime in with your Western now. Conference predictions. So I've got Lakers 1.
Nice.
I've got the biggest, some can say shocker, of the NBA. I've got the Trailblazers 2, Clippers 3, Nuggets 4.
Trailblazers 2?
What?
They're loaded. Look at that. Look at them. They're loaded. What don't you like about them? What are they missing? What are they missing?
They're good, but I don't have them at 2.
They're good, but they're better than the Clippers?
I have the Trailblazers at 2. The reason why I called it a shocker for a reason.
Better than the Clippers?
I have them at 2, Ralphie. Therefore, I have the Clippers at 3. That means, yes, I have them better than the Clippers.
Wow.
I called it shocker for a reason.
Hey, yeah.
You got better than Nuggets too.
Yeah, I got Nuggets 4, Warriors 5, Jazz 6, Pels 7, Mavericks 8, and my 2 playing teams are the Suns and the Grizzlies.
The Suns don't make the playoffs?
They're in the playing game, Ralphie. It's a process. Trust it.
You got so you got the Trailblazers too?
Yeah.
But the Suns don't make the playoffs?
They're in the
playing
My
favorite point guard, Chris Paul.
They're a 9 seed.
Ralphie, they're in the playing game, Ralphie.
This is bullshit, man.
I can't even see it. The sad thing is I can't even see
happiness for Phoenix. They've been in the dumps for a how long now?
You have Phoenix ties. What are you, Charles? Were you Barkley all of a sudden? What are you going? Were you going a handful of the games now?
Oh man!
By the way, I can't see any of you guys. It's frozen, so I don't even. You guys probably giving me looks. I can't see them.
We all gave you looks.
Give you a lot of looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bet whatever anybody wants on the Trailblazers not being no shot.
How about 3?
No, they're gonna be 4 or 5.
Nobody's got love for Phoenix, man. It's pretty
4 or 5. That's right where they should be.
So my Western is I got the Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Jazz, Pelicans, Mavericks, Suns.
I know that hurts you to have the Pelicans.
Why?
No, just with Zion, because
He's healthy right now.
Yeah, I know.
That was 7. I have the right.
Correct.
I have the Trailblazers 8. I got the Warriors 9 and the Grizzlies 10.
So no playoffs for the Warriors. Where do you have the Suns?
7.
Nice. Okay, so they make the playoffs.
Does that make you happy, Ralph?
Yeah. Go ahead, Frank.
All right, so my Western Conference standings, I got the Los Angeles Ralphs at 1.
Nice.
I got the Nuggets 2, Clippers 3, Mavericks 4. Now, when I came up with these standings, I'm assuming James Harden is going to stay and John Wall stays healthy. I got the Rockets 5, Utah at 6. The teams going in for the play-in for the 7 and 8 seeds. I got the New Orleans Pelicans, Golden State Warriors, the Portland Trailblazers, and the team with my favorite point guard, Chris Paul, the Phoenix Suns, in the play-in game.
They're not in the playoffs. They're not in the play.
But the teams that are going to get the 7 and 8 seed, I'm going to go with Portland gets 7, Phoenix gets 8.
This is bullshit.
Phoenix.
He just said Phoenix got 8. He just made the playoffs.
Nice, Frank.
It's not good enough for him, though. Tom, did you want to give your East and West? A little double dip?
Yeah, let's double dip here, Tommy.
Yeah, my East is obviously Milwaukee 1 until they're not.
Yep.
Sixers 2, Celtics 3, Heat 4, Nets 5, Washington 6.
There you go.
Nice.
Indiana.
Nice.
Indiana 7. Orlando 8.
Oh, Greg is going to be very happy.
Shit.
You made Greg very happy.
If I miss this, I'm sorry. No, the Raptors are missing the playoffs?
No.
Goodbye to the Magic.
Bye, Orlando.
We stink again.
Oh, we suck again.
Magic then.
Major League. What a movie.
Hey, Greg, you guys made the playing game.
Made the playing game.
All right, there you go.
West, it's the Lakers, Denver, Clippers. And it gets a little weird.
Oh,
It does get weird in the West after that. You're right.
Dallas.
Ooh.
It's weird out here. So that's 5.
No, I think it was 4.
No, I had
Lakers, Nuggets, Clippers, then you went Mavs.
Yeah, on the 5.
Yeah, you're on 5. Yeah.
Man, it's a lot of teams jumbled up in here though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, man, I don't know about Houston though. I just don't know what's going on there. I just don't know what's going on to put them 5. I really don't.
Yeah, like that was the hard one for me. Like doing the West, like after 4, it's whatever the Rockets are doing. Because are they going to trade James Harden?
Yes.
I'll go
Is
Portland.
John Wall going to stay healthy? And
There you go.
There's so many question marks in there. So I had them at 5, assuming Harden stays, Wall's healthy,
See,
everything's all hunky dory in Houston.
I have Houston missing the playoffs outright.
Golden State 6. Houston 7. Phoenix 8. New Orleans 9.
Nice.
They're in the playoffs, Ralphie. Okay.
Yep. Put some respect on their name.
It's going to make my favorite point guard, Chris Paul, very happy.
Oh, Christ.
He plays for Phoenix, by the way.
Dynasty says Lakers, Mavs up to 2. Well, Doncic
Wow.
is the MVP then, if that's the case. Clippers, Nuggets, Blazers, Pels, Warriors, Suns, Rockets, and the Timberwolves. Giving some love to the Timberwolves.
Wow.
Time to make the playoffs.
No Jazz in there at all. LaMelo doesn't have the Jazz either.
Mm.
Yeah, that's ballsy. LaMelo.
Oh, move Cotton.
Lakers, Mavs, Nuggets, Rockets with James. I don't even think they're making the playoffs with James. 5 Pels, 6 Blazers, 7 Suns, 8 Clippers, just because I think they're going to trade Paul.
George? Or my favorite point guard, Chris?
No, because he's not on
They wouldn't have just inked him to a max deal just to trade him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a what? 200 and what was it? 200 and crazy amount. I think it was more than Giannis, right?
Shouldn't be, but I'll check it real quick.
Or a little less than Giannis. I know it might be around.
It better be less than Giannis, or bad things are happening. In
4
Los
for one.
Angeles.
No.
Oh, Gavin forgot.
190.
190.
Additional 4 years for what? 190.
LaMelo says, I actually think the Spurs may make a comeback to clinch a playoff spot. And
No.
I think that's a stink.
They're a lottery team again.
They're going to trade all their top guys, and there's a bunch of young kids. Molly, he says Lakers, Clippers, Mavs, Denver, Houston, New Orleans, Blazers, Phoenix, Golden State 9, Memphis 10. I feel bad for Memphis, man, because I think that's a solid team, but it's in the West. They're stuck.
Now, had I done a standings without the Rockets with the Rockets trading James Harden, I think Houston goes to a lottery, Memphis goes into the play-ins, and maybe have a chance to slide in.
Gotcha.
But I have the Memphis as a lottery team as of right now, but they are on the outside looking in. It's probably going to be down to Golden State, New Orleans, and Memphis for that last spot.
Yeah.
True. Tom, you want to go back to those questions?
Yeah. Yeah, Gavin, I forgot about the Jazz as well, but I think they could take a step back. There's a lot of good young teams in the West, some upcoming teams. So, that whole process is jumbled up. So we'll see how that plays out. Back to the Sixers. Tyrese Maxey will be a starter by the end of the year. Do you guys agree or disagree with that?
I disagree. I think that they are going to have him kind of be that floor general coming off the bench, backup point guard. And I kind of like him in that role, to be honest. Also, if maybe first, second guy off the bench scoring wise. Maybe next year he will be a starter, but I think right now they're going to use him in that role.
I disagree to that question.
I agree. I think as the year goes on, you're going to find that he probably fits that starting lineup better than, with Seth Curry, and allows them to play Danny at the 3, Tyrese at the 2, and just gives them a little bit more athleticism with that starting 5.
I also agree.
Depends on what they want to do. Depends what direction they want to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
If they want more of a veteran off the bench in that role, I think it's going to be fit. I think with the ones right now, I don't know if the fit's fully there with the ones. Because you're trying to space the ones a lot with shooters. So until he improves on his 3 game, which I think he will. I have no concerns with that. I'll say no, that he'll come off the bench in that role more, because I think they're just looking at as many from what you just saw last night. Small sample size, but if that's their starting lineup, that's what they're trying to do. Hence why some thought Matisse would be in there, some thought other guys would be in there, but you can tell the way they went about it last night is they're looking for pros to space with, not guys they think they can space with. So I will disagree right now, but it doesn't mean halfway through the year things can't change. But I don't see it. I don't see it changing right. I don't see it changing right now, and maybe it does before the end of the year. But we got time to see on that one. I'm sure. I'm sure I'll start a game probably. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm sure that will happen at some point. Consistent one. It's tough to say right now. It's tough to say because I don't know what direction they want to go in. And that's not like a cop-out answer. That's just, is he good enough to start? If that's the question, sure. Yeah, he's good. He'll be good enough to start by the end of the year. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's the rotation they're trying to do. So we'll see.
No, and I agree with you on the fit side because you're right. Do you let him come off the bench and and quote unquote not have the pressure on him, or do you say, hey, you're a first round pick, we need you to be starting at some point. You know what I mean? And kind of roll it out that way. And then if the pressure gets too big, that's why you have veterans like, Seth Curry, and I know Shake's still young, but he's at least a veteran in the NBA, more than Maxey is, right? And Thibault as well, to be able to come in and take those minutes. But I think, you're right. It absolutely depends on what they truly think of him and the role.
Yep, absolutely. What do you guys? Everybody went?
Yep.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, I think we got 2 agrees and 3 disagrees.
All right, right where we should be. Ben Simmons will shoot at least 15 3-pointers this season. Do you agree or disagree?
Oh, man.
I agree. I had him at 30, so
Greg had him at 30 last week. So he's got to go agree on this one. I'm gonna say agree as well. I'm not going to go at 30 with Greg, but I think he can take 15 threes. Like I was saying last week as well, for Ben, when he shoots the ball, hopefully it clicks in his mind that, hey, when I shoot the ball, I don't have to make it. He just shoots it when he's open, or just take the 15-footer and just create and keep the defense honest. So I'm going to go agree.
Frank?
I also agree. Pretend it's like the Instagram videos that you're doing. There's nobody watching. Just take the 3.
Probably a lot of people watching that though. But
go ahead, Ryan.
On the TV. Yeah, I agree. Because God, all he has to do is shoot 1 a week, and he's going to go over that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you would think, right?
So, just based off of that, I don't think his game is going to be based off of it. Obviously, I'm not going to where he's going to be. It could be like Giannis, where he's trying 3 a game and he's airballing 2. But yeah, I would expect to see at least 1 a week from him.
Greg?
Agree. Like I said, I had him at 30 as my bold prediction, so I'm definitely in agree.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I don't know what to expect from him in terms of that. I don't know. I'm going to say disagree.
Gotcha.
Because I just thought, I don't know. I want to go negative with it and hope it turns into a positive.
So that way, when he does it, you're happy.
Yeah, because I'm not agreeing with him anymore in terms of jump shots.
Reverse psychology.
Till he does it. I'm like I'm the sports psychiatrist here in the room. So I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree with that one. I know I want to agree with it. I think if he shot 20, 25, that's fine to me. You know what I mean? It's not too much. It's just enough, but we'll see as he gets more comfortable in this offense and what they're trying to run. If we'll see it. I know, all these guys have talked about it. Danny Green's talked about it. Other guys have talked about it. I know Sam Cassell's done a tremendous job here early on working with him on it. But, it comes down to, the more I think about it, just the trust on the court to do it. Because if you watch them do it, it's clean as shit. So I don't know why you're scared. Like I watched you from the corner in warm-ups yesterday. I don't think you missed one from the corner.
Yeah.
Like,
and it sounds like his jump shot is like broken. It's clean. He's got a clean jumper.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you shooting more often? Your jumper's clean for a 6'10" guy.
Really smooth, and it's like you don't got to shoot 5 a game, but just enjoy one. Just be loose with it,
Yeah.
And hopefully that these guys can get that out of him, because I think that's what it comes down to. He's used to doing something and being able to get away with it a certain way, and he gets away with it. Don't get me wrong, you know what I mean? But this is just the evolution of what we're hoping happens, right? So, and it's not the evolution you're going to be Steph Curry. It's just the evolution of like, okay, Draymond Green shoots a couple of them. Fucking Giannis shoots a couple of them. Freaking Christ, Embiid shoots a couple of them. And big men. Every big man in the league shoots a couple of them. So just go shoot a couple of them. Shoot 2 a game. It's not going to hurt anybody. It's not going to hurt your numbers. It's not going to do anything. It's going to probably it's going to overall make you better because now guys at least have to come out and at least put a hand up. At least put a hand up. You know what I mean? And you can go buy guys.
Yeah.
Just opens up your offensive game. That's all it does. Now, I think he's tremendous without it, but it's part of the evolution that we need from him. So sticking with the Sixers, which is most likely to happen? Sixers stay status quo and make the finals. Sixers trade for Levine or Sixers trade for Harden.
Oh man.
Oh jeez.
I'm going A. Stay status quo and make the finals.
Yeah,
I will also say A.
Like they might not say status quo on like low moves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like big moves, I think they stay status quo.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think
I agree with that.
I think they make the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not going to say the NBA Finals. Not yet. The Eastern Conference Finals is a good starting place for this team. And we'll go from there. Ralphie, what do you say, Ralph?
I'm gonna go agree. I'm gonna go status quo as well. I just don't think if the big trade was gonna happen, it was gonna happen, sooner rather than later. And I just don't think that if the trade deadline does come, and just say if the Sixers do have a major injury on their team and Zach LaVine's out and you need him, and he's a better option than James Harden, then so be it. You grab Zach LaVine and you go all in this year and you go win a championship. But for that question, I'm just going to say they stay put, and I had them going to the Eastern Conference Final this year as well anyway. So I think they can get there, easily to get there.
I have a feeling once Greg comes back that he will not agree with us, and he will be going with one of the other two options.
He's probably going to go with the other two options and then somehow catapult the Magic to the NBA Finals.
Marquis says Drew Holiday is going to cook us. Just watch. What, on the Bucks? Yeah, I mean, he's good. I mean, he's a really good player, but that's why I think that's why we all have him as the 1 seed. We expect it.
Yeah, I expect them to be good. I expect them to be regular season good, Marquise, until they're same with us, until they're postseason good. But the difference from them and us is they've been 1 seeds and be getting bounced before they should. Yeah. We haven't been a 1 seed getting bounced before we should. We've actually been getting bounced right around where we should be getting bounced, right? Not this past year, but the years before, we were getting bounced right where we should be.
And it sucks for the Sixers too, because if you look back in 2017, and this is your point, early on the show too, Tommy, with the whole shooting and Tobias got to be better in the playoffs. Look at 2017, right? You guys leaned on JJ Redick to be the guy to make the big shots, came up short, couldn't make the big shot in the big games. Then you go back to 2018, and Tobias was some other guy to make the big shots towards the end of the game, and he couldn't do anything, couldn't find the net if he even tried, right? So, and then this year, obviously you can exclude this year because everything was a mess, and Ben Simmons goes down, you don't have your guy, so I exclude this year. But those 2 years where you needed a guy to make a big shot didn't happen for you guys.
No, and now I think you have more of that ability.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
For sure.
And a guy like Danny Green can step up, and a guy like Seth Curry can step up and at least make a good shot for you. There you go, Sixers JT. There you go.
Well, we're still trusting it, JT. So, I mean, Matt says 47 wins, the top 3 seed. Yeah, that's right. That's right where they should be.
Yep.
I mean, the sky's the limit for them type thing is they're like a 1 seed. That's their best case scenario. I don't know necessarily if that happens, but that would be their best case scenario. But listen, it's doable. They're as deep and as tough as all these other teams we've talked about. So,
now, let me ask you this real quick to all you guys, because the question was this offseason with Brett Brown here, when Brett Brown was here, the question it was, if you guys do make the playoffs this year, get knocked out in the second round, do you move Joel or do you move Ben, right? So now you bring in Doc, and just say, hypothetically, you guys make the playoffs and the same thing happens again. In the second round, you get bounced, and now you're into this offseason or into that offseason. Do you move Joel? Do you move Ben, or do you keep them together because you have Doc Rivers there now instead of Brett Brown?
No, they get another year.
Plus, I think it's more in depth to that. Did we get bounced because of 1 or 2 of them, right? Or did we just get bounced because this is the first year under a new coach? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Sorry, Greg.
I was done. But it's what's the reason we got bounced, right? Exactly. That I think deals more into it versus just the 30,000 feet above hypothetical. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, is it going to be an example of Tobias Harris not showing up again? Is it going to be an example of Shake Milton disappointing? A Danny Green and Seth Curry having a cold spell? You know what I'm saying? Dwight Howard disappointing. There's a lot. Because of how, I would say, higher of a ceiling this overall roster has, there's a lot more elements that go into it. I think last year's season was based off of we need Joel, Tobias, and Ben to be great and Al to be anything better than what he was last year. Now we have all these elements to where, okay, if Seth and Danny have off nights, well, then maybe we can count on Shake and Tyrese Maxey, doing some things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it all depends on how it plays out. Like if Ben and Joe are dropping, if Joe's dropping 30 a night and Ben's dropping, 18 and he's dishing the ball around and them two look good, but we get knocked out in the second round, I think that's a different conversation. Mm-hmm. I think it all depends on how we get knocked out. How do we get knocked out? Did Joe not show up? Okay, then we're having that conversation.
Yeah.
Joe averaged 15 through the series. And okay, maybe he's gone. But don't you start having that conversation with me right now.
And did they go to 7 games or did they get swept? You know what I'm saying? Like that's all. Yeah, that's also a big determiner as well.
Philly sports passion, Lakers and Hawks. I mean, if the Hawks make it to the finals, I'll give you CD radio. If the Hawks make it to the finals,
I'm not even doing that one.
No. NBA finals. I don't think got the Hawks as a freaking playoff team. I don't think they're. Yeah. I think there's better teams than them. like the team that I left the team out, and Toronto's better than them. Orlando's better than them. You know what I mean? There's teams that are better than them. I mean, obviously Toronto, Orlando's better than them. Washington's now better than them. So when they might have not been before Westbrook got there. So gotta look at all that. Greg will probably say status quo to this, so I'm not even going to ask him. I know where his head's at. What's most likely to happen for the Sixers, Greg? Did you hear that?
No, I didn't. I missed that one. Sorry.
I really don't want to ask you, but I will. Which is most likely to happen? Sixers stay status quo and make it to the finals. Sixers trade for Zach LaVine. Sixers trade for James Harden.
Status quo.
Ooh.
I'm surprised. Okay. I thought you were going to go LaVine. I thought you were going to go Danny Green LaVine thing.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't shock me, but I think most realistic, I think, is status quo and maybe a small move here or there. But in terms of big moves, I think it's status quo.
Yeah. Which teams will be the most disappointing? this season. So,
Which
one of these teams will have the most disappointing season? Okay, the Heat, the Nets, Clippers, or the Nuggets?
Heat.
Damn it.
Nets.
I too have the Nets.
Yeah, I think the Nets are one of the biggest conundrums in the Eastern Conference because you have two all-world players, right? But you're right, Tom. You said it earlier, and why it's hard for you, personally, to put them higher than the Sixers, right? Is because of Steve Nash. What is their head coach like? And then how does everybody else fit around KD? Because they were a scrappy team last year, but obviously KD wasn't there. So Joe Harris, Chris LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, they all had certain roles because they were all filling in and trying to make up for KD. So what is that? I think they're the biggest ceiling floor team in the NBA. I think you can see them high as 2 and as low as out of the playoffs.
For sure.
Wow, really?
No, I mean, listen, man. I mean, it can implode when you got a guy like Kyrie right now.
It's true.
I mean, it could implode. I mean, the guy's already created drama when there wasn't any for drama. You know what I mean? So he just creates drama. Creating drama is no good. That can hurt the direction you're trying to go as a basketball team. So we'll see. But I think they have the chance to be the most disappointing, and they also have the chance to make the biggest improvement too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it can go both ways. I'm a huge Durant guy. I'm just not a big anything else on their team guy. Make sense? I'm just not big into anything else they really have. LeVert's okay to me. I don't love LeVert. He's okay. You know what I mean? I don't love Spencer. He's all right. You know what I'm saying? These are good basketball players. They're not great. You know what I mean? They're good. They're good ball players. But I don't know. They just don't. If no Kyrie at points, you're in trouble. You're in trouble because you build it for Kyrie and Durant. You didn't build it for KD.
You built the house for them.
You built it for KD and LeVert.
Yeah.
Now, can KD carry you to a 7 or 8 seed by himself? Yeah. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, we watched him the other night, but a little bit. But how healthy is he? How much is he himself right now? We're gonna find out. I mean, that's a lot of weight to put him on to carry it. So we're gonna see how it plays out. But I think the biggest factor is who's running the show, the players or the coaches there.
Yep.
It's true. That's fair.
Are they going to be we talk about Brett Brown being too friendly? Is this going to be all kumbaya there? Where Steve Nash can't tell guys to do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, shit, you saw it last year, 2 months into the season. Kenny Atkins was run out of town already. They didn't like him.
No, they wanted a guy that they could tell what to
Kenny
do.
Atkins is not a bad coach either.
No.
He's actually a really good coach.
Where did he
coach Brett Brown? I'll coach Brett Brown every time.
Yeah.
Where did he get a job, Ralphie?
I don't think so. I don't think he did.
Look at these guys. They blackballed him from the league because they wanted their own freaking guy in there that they could tell what to do. I mean, this is what you're dealing with.
He's now an assistant with the Clippers now, Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Yeah, Matt. I mean, the Eagles' locker room's drama for sure. We would see.
The only reason why I went Heat, just to make it different, is just because I have the disappointing thing being labeled as a team who went to the NBA Finals to a team that I think has a real shot, the way they are, if they don't make any major moves. Going from a team that made the finals to maybe getting bounced in the first round of playoffs.
No, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
I think if you ranked them, I think for me they would be 2. You know what I mean? If I ranked them, they would be 2.
I have them 4. Just I think they take a little step back, but I don't think enough to be the most disappointing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even if they got knocked out in the second round, I don't consider that disappointing because in context, you know what I mean? They played basketball for almost a fucking full year.
Right.
Great. Not that people say, oh, Tom, hey, well, you're just playing ball. It's a lot on the fucking body at this level. So, that's the only reason I think they take a step back. Now, they might not because they got a lot of younger, fresher legs. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it could help them, But Jimmy's their guy. So I'm going to be interested to see how they work his minutes through the year. But I don't think they take a major. I think they take a little. But the Nets have a chance to dude, the Nets, fucking telling you guys, the Nets have a chance to not even make the playoffs if things go bad.
They have dream team vibes, like Eagles dream team vibes, not like dream team, like good dream team.
What if Durant gets hurt?
Well, that's exactly it. That's the other side of it too. You're right. You said how healthy is he? Yeah, he could absolutely get hurt again, and then they're exactly what they were, and they were out of playoffs.
Yeah. I'm not trying to talk shit on because Durant's one of my you guys know how I feel about Durant. I mean, I can't say enough good things, even though people want to shit on from going to Golden State. Like, you want to shit on somebody, then start with LeBron running around everywhere. I mean, he just followed suit, dude, like everybody else did. You gonna blame him and take away his how good of a basketball player he is? I think it's a fucking joke. Okay, it's a joke. See how good Golden State is without him. All right. Yeah. So I want people to calm down with that. Calm down with that. And it's sometimes hard for all them types of guys to play together, and they all did it. They all did it. You know what I'm saying? Credit to Durant, credit to Steph Curry, credit to Klay Thompson, credit to Draymond Green. That's just not easy to do. And they won titles doing it. You know? And I do think people are sleeping on Golden State out in the West a little bit too, even though they don't have Klay. I think it's a little sleep. Little sleep. They're not great, but people don't have them in the playoffs. I think that's crazy talk to me. There's too much veteran leadership, and you have Steph Curry, and he can go for 50 any night, and that just puts you in the mix. Wiseman gets you younger, gets you bigger, something you were missing. Oubre's a good player. Yeah. Wiggins, thank God we didn't go winless for Wiggins. But he's the biggest
scorer in today's NBA.
What'd you say, Greg?
I said he could score in today's NBA.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. He's the biggest mystery.
No, but you're absolutely right.
I've witnessed in like the last 4 years basketball wise on what we thought he was going to be.
Is it fair? And this sounds crazy for a former number one pick, especially in this city where, to your point, Tom, it was winless for Wiggins. For that team, is it fair to call him almost like the secret weapon? You know what I'm saying?
Nobody talks about him. People people bring up Oubre before him because because he's not he wasn't expected to be good. You know what I mean? As much as Wiggins was. So you almost get shit on. But dude, that's a good basketball team there. And they're well coached. I don't care what anybody says. They got a culture of winning. They shut it down for 1 year. It doesn't change anything. See you, Frank.
Bye, Frank.
See you, Frank.
It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change the fact of the matter is you have winners on your basketball team. And you have two big ones. Right? You have two big winners on your basketball team. And that's what matters. That's what it starts with. And you better believe younger guys come there and they buy the fuck in. You got enough scoring. I think they can play good enough defense. That's the question mark without Klay. I'm more concerned about them defensively without Klay than I am offensively. And that don't read into that, people. I'm just, you know what I mean? Don't read into that. He's a great scorer, but he's so good defensively. That's my concern. I put so much on the defense end. Nobody talks about defense. Everybody wants to talk about how many points guys score. I'm a big believer you win in the postseason by getting fucking Pomsy. And if you don't want to get Pomsy, you get bounced early. And that's why I talk about how good Ben and Joe are. That's why I'm so high on Ben still. Because if I can shut Tatum down in the series, I win that fucking series. It's simple. Who's up next? Right? If I shut Middleton down or I shut Drew Holiday down. Right? Or he matches up with Jimmy Butler and shuts his ass down. But don't forget about something. This is 6'10" big boy. Dude's thick. This dude came back thicker than he was last year. Some thick talk. All right? Hey, take it. Get your binoculars on if you can't goddamn see it. He got bigger. Got bigger and stronger already.
And not James Harden thick with 2 C's.
I'm excited.
No, there's a lot to be excited about. And I mean, number one, it's back. You know what I mean? You're right. As we posted yesterday, I mean, we just get something else to watch now. There's something else on TV during the week, right? You know what I mean? The Mondays and Tuesdays NFL football games are all fun and good. But when your team's not playing, you're not really as engaged. Now we get Sixers every other night.
We don't have to wait for every Sunday to be disappointed. You know what I'm saying? It's not even like we were waiting every week to for a big time win. We got to wait until Sunday to be embarrassed.
Yep, that was spot on. So which team will make the biggest improvement? Okay, you got the Hawks, you got the Wizards, you got the Suns, and you got the Pelicans. All right, this is easy.
Suns.
This is easy to me. Shut up. No, it's not. It's the Wizards. Okay, it's not
Wizards.
even close. All right, it's not even close. Phoenix was close. Phoenix almost came into the bubble and went to the playoffs from the bubble. All right, so Phoenix we expect to be a 7 or 8 seed, Ralphie. Okay, right?
But not Washington, though?
2 weeks ago, nobody did.
2 weeks ago, Ralphie, they were like a freaking 12th seed.
But they had the capabilities of making the biggest jump, though. Because you're talking about the biggest improvement goes from being, a team that's way out of the playoffs to a team that sneaks into a 6, 7 seed. That's a big jump.
You're right, Tom. Well, first, Ben, he says, do you ever talk about Flyers? Sorry, I'm just asking. We have a hockey show every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Talk Flyers when they are playing, for sure.
But to your point, Tom, they literally, in that trade, in one trade, they went from a guy, John Wall, who hadn't played for them literally in 2 years, to Russell Westbrook. Just think about that. Their last two teams, they went, you know what I'm saying? They added a guy in Russell Westbrook for a guy who hasn't touched the court in 2 years.
And Russ always goes to the dance. Say what you want about him. I mean, he always goes to the dance.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna make him better.
You're not lying about that. I just think
you have the Suns going to the
Suns. Then Ralphie, if you're talking about the jump the Wizards could make, then you have to.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
You have to have the Suns as a 4 or 5 seed then.
He has the Suns going to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I have the Suns going to the Western Conference Finals, yeah.
The Western Conference Finals?
Beating his Lakers.
Wow. Good for you.
Okay, now let me ask you this. Who makes it farther in the playoffs, Washington or Phoenix? If both of them make it, no, both of them make it, who makes it farther in the playoffs, Washington or Phoenix?
I think if they both made the playoffs, which I don't think they will, I don't think Suns are making it. If they do, I think they both would be first-round exits. Because the Suns would probably play the Lakers or the Clippers. I don't see them winning that series. And the Wizards would probably play us or the Bucks or the Nets. And I don't see them winning that series. So they would go equal. First-round exit.
Washington has a chance to go further than them. Because I guess because Phoenix has Paul, they have they could. But I would say Washington. I like Beal a lot. That's part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
I like Bradley
Beal's a pimp.
Bradley Beal's a pimp, and not saying Devin Booker isn't, because he is. The West is just a weird animal to me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the West is a weird fucking animal. Like, I think New Orleans can take a gigantic jump. New Orleans can take a gigantic jump. New Orleans should be in this conversation maybe more than the other teams we're talking about, because they have an opportunity to go from like that lower level playoff team to a freaking 4 seed. Like, they have the ability to do it. Yeah. But when you're young, it's hard. When you're young, it's hard. That's why Phoenix, like, okay, Chris Paul makes them close there, right? But I think Washington has the edge there because I don't know. I guess they're a wash. I mean, I guess Beal and Booker are a wash there in terms of like experience wise, right? Like, you know what I mean? They're almost a wash. So I mean, so I mean, it's close. Honestly, it's close. They both could win a playoff series. They both could be eliminated in the first round. I mean, they're close teams right there.
Yeah.
So who has more upside? Probably Phoenix, because they have like, who's better, Booker and Ayton, or Ryu and Aru and freaking Beal? Who's better? I mean, I'd probably take Ayton and Booker right now.
Yeah.
Well, that was exactly what I was going to say. To where we know the two big stars I would say the three big stars for the Suns are Paul, Booker, and Ayton. Then the 3 big stars for Washington would be Beal, Westbrook, Rui Hachimura. It's not. I like Rui, but he's not 8.
Yeah, I don't even say his name right anytime I ever say it, Rui. But it doesn't even matter. Everybody knows what I was talking about. And no, you're right, but he's good too, though, in his own right. And does he get better with a bunch of guys like these two who can get to the basket? Yep. So the question mark comes, really, and while I put Washington higher than them, I trust Russell Westbrook's health at this point more than I trust Chris Paul.
Yep.
And that's the difference maker to me.
Yep.
If Chris
Thanks,
Paul,
Ben. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you, Ben.
Yeah, love it. Love you, Ben. Appreciate you chiming in, brother. So yeah, I would say Washington has that edge. But if Paul's healthy, then I mean, maybe Ralphie's thing can come to fruition.
Yeah. You know?
Steve, who was burying Shake Milton? Not us.
I mean, I've said like don't crown him. I don't know if that's burying him.
No, that's
He's
just
like
saying,
negative every time he comes in here. If Steve came in here with anything positive, like, hey guys, how you guys doing?
Oh, it's that Steve. I know. Okay, I know who that Steve is now. It took me a second. Yeah, no, he says nothing positive. No. TTP, are we saying Washington won't make the playoffs? I absolutely think they will. No, I have.
They do.
I have them as the 7th seed.
I got him as like the 5 or 6. I got him somewhere in.
I like that as well.
I think they're good. I think they're really good.
I forget.
You have Russell Westbrook to go to the playoffs.
Ben, we're gonna flash a link right here, Ben. You can get all our merch.
I think
drinkers.com.
25% is done. That was a Black Friday.
Oh, okay.
I'll take that out real quick. Hold on.
There we go, Steve. Now you're back.
I love the Sixers. That's positive.
No, yeah, we love that you love the Sixers. There's a link.
Steve, we have been critical of Shake, but that's because of Philadelphia. Everyone wants to crown him over one game. You know, we want to see more. We want to see more consistency. You know, you saw, hopefully a blueprint of what he potentially could be to this team this year last night. So you're right. He absolutely did look like a threat. But now let's see it going forward with some consistency, especially in hopefully a defined role coming off the bench as your 6th or 7th man.
It's true, TTP says agreed on 6th seed. Russ and Beal, arguably the best backcourt in the league.
Yeah. Ben, did you get the link? I hope you saw a flash up on the screen. So if you didn't, let us know.
If not, you're on Facebook. Should be in the description.
Mm-hmm.
We should have it linked in the description. You just go click on it.
I'm not like huge on them, Red. I just think, like everybody said, Westbrook and Beal is a great combo, and they're not deep. But Russ seems to make guys around him better though when he plays with them. So I want to factor in he's going to make some guys better by
Russ and Beal usually play 35 plus minutes a game anyway.
Yeah.
So at least at their 2 most important positions, they don't really need to be super deep.
We love the Beal and Westbrook combo. I think we all either really, we like Hachimura or we think he's going to get much better. Bertans fits a role there with shooting. And then they just got to have Dia. Everyone's talking about he's the, people trying to compare him to Ben Simmons as far as a facilitator. So they got a top. Some people, the experts say a top 5 pick. So, and I'm just talking about 5 players.
No, listen, they're not like they're not overly loaded, but they're good. I mean, but they could be a 1st round exit too. So that that's the thing. But nobody's talking Eastern Conference Finals or anything crazy. Dan says,
"Oh, sorry, Tom."
Would you rather the starting lineup that ran last night or replace Danny or Seth with Shake? No, I like the way it was. Honestly, I like the way it was for last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I what they did last night was fine to me.
Sixers JT, what do you think? What do you guys expect from Matisse? I think he's going to he's got to find his role here now again. So a new staff, not the staff that picked you. So now you have to refine your role. And I think his role is about 10 to 15 minutes a game. Okay? I mean, I think that's about where you're going to get from him, Sixers JT. I don't think you need more than that. And that's a good
can we get rid of the man bun, please?
Yeah, people aren't going to like what I have to say. I think he's going to get replaced by Terrence Ferguson. I don't see it. And I'm not basing it off of last night. I'm not. It's just with with the Danny Greens now, you have plenty of defense. Okay. I need guys that can score. I don't need a guy that's going to be, have a couple steals a game, cheating on some defense and having zero offensive game. If he comes in with more offense, great. But Terrence Ferguson could be a solid defender with more offense. And if Matisse is, coveted around the league, trade him. You know what I'm saying?
Terrence really don't score either, but
he at least has an semblance of an offensive game. He's not a scorer, but he's got the defense that Thibault has.
True, but
a little bit more offense.
I don't think they're going to replace a guy they just drafted this year. I think they're going to the minutes are just going to be like 10 to 15. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to replace him yet.
Spot minutes.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're there yet. I mean, I think this staff needs to see him before they're there. Ferguson's like a throw into that deal, obviously. He's athletic, but he's like Matisse in a way. They're like similar guys. Like, you know what I mean? And I know Ferguson's young, but they're similar guys. Matisse probably has a higher upside than Ferguson, honestly. And that's not saying much.
I think Matisse's role is going to go as his offense. If there's no offensive, increase, then there's not going to be very much of a role. I mean, we know what he's going to have spot minutes because of always his defense is there, but he might not see significant minutes if there's no increase in his defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think his defense is good. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with his defense. And I also don't have a problem with, 10 to 15 minutes a game and that defense being used in a role. You know what I mean? And that's the kicker. If you have other guys in that unit that can score, you don't need him. You don't need him lighting up the scoreboard. You need him playing a role. So, I'm good with what they rolled out last night. You know what I'm saying? Like, general, too, of the top to bottom of it. I was good with it. And I see them doing that a lot moving forward early on here, where they give a lot of guys almost what we call extra minutes early on in the season, just to see what sort of guys do. You know what I mean? Because they lose out on all the preseason stuff and lose out on seeing guys in game environments that I guarantee he goes longer with his bench early on and shrinks as he goes. That's what you're going to see.
Yep.
So all these guys who played last night, they're going to play. They're going to get minutes. He's got them all in rotations. And then as we get deeper into this year, last 20, 30 games, you're going to see that slowly shrink down.
Dennis, this is actually an interesting question. He says, who's going to be the surprise cut or trade before the season starts? I mean, the cut, I don't know if there's such thing as a surprise cut with this roster. I'd say the three bubble guys are Bradley, that Poirier, and Anderson. I'd say probably. You're not going to carry four centers, so probably either Bradley or Poirier. But Bradley's got money on his. He has a tradable contract, to where I can see them keeping him to add on. So probably Poirier, but that's not a surprise. He's just
Justin Anderson's got guaranteed money here.
Yeah.
So I don't think go ahead, Greg. That's all. I don't think he's being moved.
No, I was just saying. I think there's extended roster sizes too. So I think you're able to keep a lot more of these bubble guys just because of the circumstances that everyone's under.
Yeah, so and that's why he's going to play guys a lot of minutes, Greg. To that point, because he's got to see what he has, because he knows he's going to lose guys. Like every team knows at some point of the year they're all going to lose some guys. It happened in the NFL, right? The NBA is not in a bubble, so it's going to happen in the NBA. Guys are going to come and go. So this is the year where deep wins, right? The bubble, not so much, because the bubble was bubble. Nobody was going out with anything besides injuries, right? We didn't have any cases in the bubble. We're going to have cases. That's just part of what we got to deal with and navigate through for every team. You know what I mean? So it's really the team that gets hit the least, that doesn't get Baltimore Ravened, right? And can buy in and not do what the Houston Texans did 2 nights ago. All right? Have you guys seen that? It should be crumb. They should be crumb in a century, because this is what's unfair. Like, so you're out of it, right? You're out of it. You got nothing to fucking play for. So Deshaun Watson opens up his restaurant. Fine. Okay. I'm all for you open up your restaurant. But the NFL has rules of no more than 3 players per team can gather outside of the
Oh no.
That's NFL rules.
Yeah.
For every team. I didn't know that. That's news to me. I saw it tonight, and I'm like, interesting. And so these guys are all going to get fined, right? These guys are all going to get fined. But the fact of the matter is like it's almost like the Michigan thing. You know what I mean, Greg? It's like, well, I'm out of it. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? And then you screw it up for teams that are in it, maybe. And that's where the slippery slope is that you don't get. You don't get in the bubble. The bubble, nobody can screw it up for like, you know what I mean? Nobody can not play you for whatever reasons. It's going to be an interesting one to navigate through, but I think the more experienced coaches, right? Maybe some of the more experienced teams. And that's why I think another reason we added these veterans, all right? They're the ones who are going to get through this better than the younger teams, all right? That's the facts of the matter. So some of these younger teams that we really like a lot, they're not deep enough to lose like one guy or what, you know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
It's true.
I think we can get through it, depending on how it would go. But regardless, it's going to be an interesting thing to see, and it's something to think about when you're making your predictions and on who's cutting the nets down, right?
Yeah.
You know?
It's true.
How do they do the playoffs? I mean, they got to bubble playoffs, right? Because they can't afford to lose. Like we talked about this last year, they can't afford to lose LeBron. You can't afford money-wise. You can't afford Giannis, any of them guys.
Yeah,
like Jimmy Butler, any of these guys. You can't lose them in the playoffs.
Nope.
So I bet you the players. I bet you that's probably already something that's built in. I'm sure to the collective bargaining agreement this year, or some kind of agreement. I would assume. The NBA's pretty good. They're usually one step ahead of shit to make sure their product goes off.
Yeah.
And goes off the right way. Like the NFL. The NFL is now talking about it's like a semi bubble for the playoffs. The fuck are you guys doing, dude? If you guys lose like a Mahomes for a week, you screw up everything.
Imagine NFC title game, Packers, Bucks, and Aaron Rodgers is out.
Brady.
Or Brady, yeah. Both of them. Both of them.
Yeah,
Jordan Love versus Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And you know what's going to happen. Jordan Love's coming in off of the ice, winning the Super Bowl. Aaron's gone. He's going to San Francisco.
Yeah, because they see the Chiefs next round, and they're playing whoever their fucking backup is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like Andy's offense doesn't look good. Well, no shit.
Yeah.
Clock management.
They haven't decided on that, right? Like, we're going to go with football right now anyway.
Yeah, they have
I
not.
have no idea. No.
It's interesting because they did say they're like, I mean, they should let the families come. It's only freaking 4 weeks, dude.
Yeah.
It's not like as long as the NBA playoffs. So it's like, just suck it up for. I mean, I've heard guys talk about it, like teams that get in the playoffs, like we'll suck it up for 4 or 5 weeks. Like, you know what I mean, we want our teams. If I'm the Ravens, I'm like, whatever you need me to do.
Oh yeah.
Because nobody's lost more players throughout the year than they did.
If the Ravens are watching, I could play wide receiver this weekend. I heard you guys might need a couple.
Right better than Marquise Brown.
Oh yeah. Greg, I want to give you the chance to respond to this. There's a lot of Furkan slander in the comments.
Furkan slander, it's fine. I mean, he's on the team. He's got a contract. He's gonna be in a role. I mean,
hold on.
I don't know why there's slander for a kid who's 23. Is he a little inconsistent? Sure, but he's 23. Give me a 23-year-old that isn't inconsistent.
Luka.
I don't know what I can't compare them to. It's not even fair.
No, I was busting his balls because that's why I said, damn it, Greg, go with it.
Yeah, Furkan needs to go. He's useless on a roster with shooting. No, I mean, you can't have enough shooters, dude. You know what I mean? You can't have enough shooters right now.
No, and I was just saying his role's off the bench. It's not like he's starting. If he was starting, I would give a little bit of a credence to all the Furkan hate, but he's coming off the bench 10 to 15 minutes a game on the second team. Like, what else do you want from the guy?
I will just say this.
Plus, he's going to shoot 45% from three today, so you're all going to be licking on him later on.
What is that? Steve, what does that have to do with anything? Like, are we asking him to play 30 minutes a game or we're worried about his fucking combine? You know what I mean? Like, it's getting him to hit open threes. I'm at home. This is what happens here in this city. We all start expecting guys to be more than they are. Like, he's a guy once in a while, he's going to go off for 20 plus. Once in a while. That's who he is. You take it and you leave it.
The one thing, and again, it's off of one. I'm not panicked. I'm not like any of these people that are saying like, "Oh my God, we got to get him off the bench now. He's a problem." And you know my feelings on Furkan, Greg. But to be fair to him, the only thing you could be saying, if there's a problem with Furkan based off of last night's game, what we've heard and read about the preseason, Doc wants to use him more as an on-ball dribbler instead of a spot-up shooter. That, I think, is a mistake. But I'm not going to crush it until I see it for a big sample size. Last night, I didn't like it, but that's also the first game of the preseason with them working through chemistry.
Yeah, but you got to understand what kind of offense Doc runs a lot. He runs a lot of two-man games. You know what I mean? So when you're running a lot of two-man,
a lot.
When you're a guy who starts with that basketball, you're probably going to be that guy who ends up shooting a three with the basketball. So, so I mean, Furkan can take the ball to the basket. I've seen him do it plenty of times to know he can take guys off the dribble, even though he's not the most athletic guy. He's like sneaky athletic. He's fine. He's a guy who can give you instant offense off the bench. I just think we're asking for too much. I don't know what you guys think you're getting for him on the market, like trading him. Like can we let this season go on for a little bit before we start talking about trading guys? I'm not saying he's like untradeable. Like I don't trade him. I mean, sure. What are you giving me back? But if we didn't have him on, the roster last year, we really wouldn't have shot the three well.
God.
Yeah. So I mean, I just think we get a couple new faces and then we want everybody else out. But I don't think he's good. I don't think he's bad. I think he's just like, eh.
He's the eighth man on a good team. You know what I'm saying? Eighth, ninth man on a good team. That's like Sand says, we just need him to make threes. That's it.
Take a couple guys off the dribble. Last night he took guys off the dribble. He had an N1. So, I mean, he can get to the rim a little bit. He's fine.
Exactly, DB. He says, I mean, last night you saw guys play more minutes than they will be asked to play in season. So let's just wait until the season starts. Exactly.
But, I think you could see, the rotation. And I know we're getting ready to shift into football real quick with the Eagles, but you can see the rotation, Seth Curry going out 5-6 minutes into the first quarter, bringing in Shake or Furkan, depending on the matchup, get those guys a little run early, and then you bring Seth back as that scoring option with the second team. You know what I mean? When Ben or Joel or both of them go to the bench, now you come back with the veteran in Seth Curry, now doing pick and rolls with Dwight Howard or Mike Scott, right? So that's kind of, I think, a little bit of the rotation. You're going to start Seth. He's probably the first one out and then gets more run with the second unit as you go into the second quarter before the end of the half and then kind of do that the same way. So I think that would be, and you could interchange, depending on the matchup and what you need, you can interchange Furkan, Shake, however you want to go there to see, depending on what you need at the time.
It's about developing these two guys too. These three. And count Maxey in there too.
Maxey's in there as well. Yep.
It's about this staff developing young players, and you can put Ben in there too. You can put Joe in there too. You guys aren't like 35. I mean, they're still can be developed, still can get better, and at the end of the day, that's all we're looking for, right? I mean, we're looking for everybody to make improvements, and. That's the best I can say about that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's improvement city.
Ted says, Furkan, who was drafted one pick ahead of Pascal Siakam, I'll throw that on fire, go crazy. Yeah, I mean, that bothers me a lot. I have gone back to that draft and looked at it and saying, damn, if Brian Colangelo or Brett, whoever the hell was running it in that specific year, if they would have woken up. But also Siakam was a complete unknown. Not saying Furkan was known, but that happens sometimes.
Yeah, what are we talking second round here? You know what I mean? Like
no, 26.
End of first round, second round.
No, I know. I'm just saying. Got a Spencer Hawes for MVP. What?
Wow.
Where the hell are we?
Good old Spence. Trust the process, indeed.
Let's see. TTP saying, I want Tobias going to the rack all day this year. Those 10-foot pull-ups are money. Yeah. just so freaking slow. That's the problem. He's so slow. Steve. Oh, hey, we got 2 positive comments from Steve. Dwight Howard's a great signing. He is. Yeah, he looked really good. Philly Sports Passion saying, I love our bench, Seth, Dwight, Scott, and Maxey. Somebody was asking our in-depth opinions of Maxey earlier. I think the best thing we can say about him, I mean, there's a lot of good things we can say about him, but he looked comfortable. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He didn't look out of his shell. I mean, he looked like somebody who's been doing it for a while. Comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He didn't look like he was a deer in the headlights.
No.
Didn't look like the game was too big for him. And that's kind of all you really ask and expect for a rookie in their first debut. You know what I mean? Kind of in the same mold as Jalen Hurts on Sunday. You know, it didn't seem like the game was too fast, was too big, was too much for him. Right? You can say what you want about his performance and the stats or whatever, but both of these guys, in terms of Maxey, they play big time college basketball, right? Or football, to where stepping up to an NBA is just the next step. It's not like, oh my God, I'm coming from high school to the NBA and my body's not advanced or anything like that. That's what the NBA is right now. He's ready for it. And that's what he showed.
One of these questions, because I know we have a couple more before we go to football when Tom gets back. I want to ask you guys, kind of going more national again. I know we briefly touched on it last week as far as the MVP conversation, but it's an agree or disagree question. And if you disagree with this, especially fam at home, tell us who you have winning it. The question is this. The MVP will either be LeBron or Giannis this year. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
And you have?
LeBron wins
even if he's missing the first month?
Yeah, wins it.
He's not going to play. Okay, fine. Greg?
I'm going to go disagree, but I don't have anybody off the top of my head. Disagree, and Luka wins.
It's a good one. I'm just going to give you my top 3 MVP the candidates. I'm going to go Tatum 1.
Wow.
I'm going Doncic 2, Damian Lillard 3. I originally had Damian Lillard, but he's going to have to we all know that what's the most valuable thing in the MVP candidate? It's all about stats. What? Go. Hey. You're timing me out? Okay.
Yeah, I'm timing you out.
Okay.
So you're telling me in your Western Conference rankings, you're the Portland Trailblazers coming in as the 2 seed, and you changed your MVP and took Dame out?
What's the most important thing in MVP? It's stats. I don't think he's going to be able to. I think he's going to be the best player.
And how are they the 2 seed if he's not there?
Great. It's not just about him with that team. That team's loaded. That
I
team's
know,
loaded.
but
let me ask you this.
Drink.
Do you think he's going to out-statistic Doncic and Tatum?
If they're the 2 seed, yes.
No, because they're not going to rely on him as much as everybody else. You don't have to have low. I don't think you've seen that roster in a year. I think you think it's just him
the whole time.
Huh?
He's got the ball the whole time.
Not the whole.
He comes over half court and he's open.
And he's making.
Hell, he's probably open even on the logo on the other side of half court.
Yes, I do. By the way, TTP. Yes.
I'm just saying the only in my mind the only way Portland comes up to be the 2 seed is if Dame is MVP.
I have him top 3. You think you're saying?
I know. You
talking about like I have him
out
6.
of 1 though. But you took him out of 1. So if you took him out of 1, then that makes your Blazers at 2 more crazy.
No, it's not. It's not because it's not crazy because I'm telling you, they're not going to be anywhere close to what they were last year. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong for them last year. And I think even Ralphie would agree for that. You saw what they were capable of when they were healthy for 5 seconds at the end. Also, you look at it to where, again, it's not just based off of him. They have one of the better rosters in the NBA. If you look at,
I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying they don't.
You had them. Where do you have them in the? Where do you have them in the West? Trailblazers.
I have them like 6 or 7.
Well, so you're saying they probably don't then. By that ranking, you're saying they probably don't. So if we can all agree Dame's great and the roster's really good, then you don't have them 7th. You have them top 4, top 5. And I know it's in the West, but I mean, it's just saying. So I have them top 3 because I know how they vote. They're not. I don't know if they're going to give it to Giannis again. I mean, it's possible. I don't think they're giving it to LeBron or AD because I don't see them playing enough games.
I mean, he won back-to-back, so yeah, you could take Giannis out.
Yeah, it's just that you don't usually see a three-peat unless it's egregious.
I think Tom mentioned it before. I could see LeBron winning it, though, just because of hey, here you go. Thank you for keeping us afloat during the bubble. You said you were playing, which meant the league could go off as planned. Thank you very much. Here's your MVP that you should have won last year. That's the NBA giving everything back, right? I could definitely see that happening. I just don't want it to happen because F LeBron.
You gonna take that from him, Ralphie?
Go to another team, LeBron.
Yes, Don. That's correct. Greg did have Aaron Gordon in the top 5.
Yep. Right behind Markel.
I actually think there's a good chance he gets traded because
he won't even be on the team.
No, I'm serious. Like, I don't think he's going to be there by the trade deadline, honestly. San has them, has Joel 1, Giannis 2, Curry 3. Curry's going to.
And is that Seth or Steph?
Steve,
like
Steve, if you think I'm basing I'm not even doing this with you. If you think I'm basing it off of Covington, please come back to me tomorrow.
I think you are.
Ralphie,
I think you are basing it off of
Ralphie, I'm going to start targeting you now. Let's see. David saying, y'all can't deny Simmons had great defense on Tatum. Yeah, of course. He's always had good defense.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Absolutely, David.
Celtics also have very good defense on Simmons, as we've unfortunately seen in the playoffs. But I don't think they're going to be able to do that because of the spacing this year, because of all the perimeter players that we have and, a little bit more shooting. I think that's going to help. I don't think they're going to be able to do the smother fest where they just put up a picket fence literally at the top of the key. They could do it. I wouldn't be surprised. This is bold. TTP. Zion comes in top 3 MVP voting. I think he pulls a Derrick Rose and pops off this season 25, 10, and 5 a night if he stays healthy. Yeah, I agree.
Zion is top 3 in MVP voting.
I can see it until
a top 3 team in the West.
Yeah, no, I have the Pelicans like 8th or 7th or something.
Yeah.
The talent's definitely there. He's got a supporting cast that allows him to potentially roll one-on-one. You know what I mean? When you think of Bledsoe, when you think of Ingram, the rest of their team's pretty good too. JJ. George Hill. Right? So he's got pros around him, which would allow him – I wasn't bringing him up.
Yeah, no. We'll just
That's so weird, man.
Let's just forget that one.
He's got pros around him to do what everyone thinks he can do. And I agree. If he's top 3, then the Pelicans, as Tom alluded to, could be making that biggest jump of those teams that we were talking about earlier, and jump into that top 5 of the Western Conference.
Yeah, I can see all of your points, TTP, until you said, quote, if he stays healthy. I have to see that first.
Yeah.
I have to see that. David saying, would y'all have Seth start over Green or Green start over Seth? Neither. I would have them start together.
They can start together.
What was it? Seth start over Green? I actually like the lineup that you guys ran out last night with both of them then in the starting 5. Yeah, I would be surprised if you run that back out the 23rd when you play Washington. That is right, Steve. He is in OKC. My bad.
Yeah, he's a future Sixer, Ralphie.
George Hill?
I think so. I could see. I would like that. I mean, I'm not putting it in stone, but I could see it happening.
You bring up George Hill, you'd be good to go.
I mean, seriously, if you look at the teams that would take – I'm not doing trades. But if you can look at a team that would take picks and a younger player Mike Scott, Furkan Korkmaz, George Hill, picks. Have fun. But no, David, I would say for right now, neither. I would say have Seth and Green both starting and Shake Milton as the sixth man. Then Howard, then probably Maxey and Thibault.
What up, Don Don?
Hi, Don. He says, Ralph, top 3 MVP candidate. Montrezl Harrell. I think it's confirmed that Don Don is now Ralph's burner account. I think Ralph purchased the Don Don account for some reason.
Don Don's a good guy.
All the more reason that you are his burner account, Ralphie.
Yeah, you're definitely his burner now.
Welcome back, Tommy.
Thanks, Ralphie.
Tom, who is your top 3 MVPs?
LeBron. Yeah.
Choice.
Embiid.
Nice.
Like it.
Something all different.
Okay.
Something all different. Did you guys do Eagles yet?
Nope. We were waiting for you.
All right, let's do this.
Yeah.
I got a tooth that's on fire right now, so.
That's okay. Let's wrap it through this then.
You sound like my mom. That's okay. That's all right.
So yeah, score predictions, offense, defense, player of the game.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Last week I had the Eagles. This week, not so much. I'm coming back down to earth. Arizona wins 27-17. Darius Slay, have fun trying to stop DeAndre Hopkins. And, yeah, so.
Slay's not even playing.
Yeah, Slay's he's on the pine, Ralphie.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Yeah. So, yeah, 27-17 Cardinals. This is going to be fun Sunday. And a fact that the Cardinals are playing for their life for their playoff spot. So.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're playing for a top 5 pick.
In theory, so are the Eagles, technically, right?
Yeah.
I just continue to go back to, the Cardinals always play the Eagles tough, regardless of who's on each team, and especially in Arizona. It's always a close game. It's always a tough game. They're a tough team. I don't know if we can overcome the defensive injuries that we faced this last couple weeks, right? It's one thing if we lost just Slay, but when you add Slay on top of McLeod, you know what I mean? That's tough. Or same thing. If it was just Rodney, you can get away with it. But when you're starting to lose even two more of your starters, especially on the back end, that's what they want to do with the Arizona Cardinals. Between Hopkins, Kirk, Larry Fitz, they want to throw the ball. And Kyler's going to get outside the pocket and going to make it tough for us to cover 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds. I got 28-14 Cardinals.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to score, but their issue's been stretching the field because I don't think Kyler Murray's 100% with his rotator. I haven't seen him stretch the field a lot. That's why Hopkins hasn't been getting involved as much. Look like he tweaked something against the Giants the other day too. So I mean, our secondary is atrocious right now. I mean, it's a train wreck. But I think we can also score too. So I don't know. We like Doug with the backups for some reason finds ways to win games. So I think it's going to be a close one, but I think both teams score. And I'm going to go 34-31 Eagles.
Last second Jake
Elliott.
He's back.
What yardage? Do you have a yardage in mind?
45.
Thank you.
45. Better from longer anyway. So
yeah.
I want it from 22.
No.
We can't have that going on. My offensive player of the game will be. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts. Go Hurts, player of the game. I think he'll throw better in this game from outside the pocket. That's sort of what I'm expecting. A couple plays from outside the pocket. I think they run the ball well, and I don't think either team does a good job of stopping each other. So that's just the vibe I got. And defense, it's got to be this entire front, because for the only way you win this game is they got to create some havoc. You know what I mean? And with a guy that I don't believe's fully healthy in Kyler Murray. So toughing it out. He's playing through it. And, we should lose this game. Just like we should lose last week. But this is the way Philly goes. And this is the way Duck goes with backup. So I'm going to take him again.
So I've got a higher scoring game as well, especially in the Eagles standards. I think we're going to score fine. It's actually really funny because Tom has us winning due to a field goal, and I have us in the situation of where we can kick a field goal to tie, but Jake Elliott missing. I'll give it, let's say, 32-yarder right in the middle. I'm going to go Cardinals 30, Eagles.
He's definitely missing that one, though. He's definitely missing that one.
Absolutely. Especially where it's not a dome, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's somewhat enclosed. Should be like that 2-mile-an-hour wind, the Arizona winters, how great.
Lance Stevenson blowing the ball.
Yep. So I'm going 30-27 Cardinals. Defensive player of the game, I'm going to go Hassan Reddick. And offensive player of the game, I'm going Christian Kirk. Because I agree with you, Tom. I almost wanted to go running back here, but there's so much going on with Kenyon Drake and all that stuff to where I completely agree. Kyler's definitely not 100%, but I think our secondary is so bad. I mean, they can get Christian Kirk involved in the little freaking slants. You know what I'm saying? They're just using his speed to just an open field. It could easily be Hopkins. I mean, I think last night I commented in saying that I could see Hopkins having more touchdowns in this game than Rager will have for the entire season. Like, I might stick with that. But just to be different, I'll go Kirk.
Yeah, I mean, he could have freaking 20 catches in this game, Hopkins. Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me. And the funny thing is, we haven't scored over 30 all year. So why not in this one?
True.
Yeah, right.
With that Super Bowl offense, according to Brett Favre, right?
Yeah, go ahead, Brett. They're so electric. Go ahead. Here we go. Then go 34 and win in the shootout. All right. Yeah. And a lot's going to determine is, we know Simmons is going to be spying him. But guess what? I mean, the Saints did the same shit. So,
yep.
You can spy all you want, but when you run this type of offense, if you don't stay disciplined, you get in trouble. And I don't care that they see Kyler Murray at practice all the time. I don't care that they see Russell Wilson twice. I mean, that stuff doesn't matter to me because every player is different and every player does things different. There's different tendencies on what they do. But, step 2 for him is this game because you got to see him be able to stretch the field, outside the pocket. That's the big difference maker.
Yep.
On taking your game to another level. You can run around all you want, but when you're running around, can you make throws on the run? You know what I mean? Because that's your game. So we'll see. I'm interested to see on, if there's any development from game 1 to game 2. And, does he get shut down running the football when he does? I'm interested to see all these things. As sample size get bigger, you sort of want to see the consistency. So I don't need to run 18 times. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
So hopefully maybe some guys learn how to extend their routes, right? And break stuff off to get open to allow, some big plays.
But can you be effective running the ball 12 times, right? As opposed to 18 times, to your point. Can you be effective running the ball 12 times? Because now as you roll out, guys are now used to playing with you in a game situation to where they kind of start to understand your tendencies as well to break off routes.
Absolutely. And then can you go for 12 for 70? You know what I mean? In that range, because like I talked about last week, when you can run a little bit, you help extend drives and demoralize defenses. Kyler has that same ability, obviously. I think our front's a little bit better than theirs. It has been all year, but we need our front to come and bang him up a little bit because I don't care who's playing corner. If you can get hits, maybe some guys can take the football away. Like we haven't taken the football away all year. So, we did last weekend, and let's see if we can again. I mean, we won the turnover battle. Can we win it again? If we can win it again, we can win the game.
Absolutely.
For anybody that cares about winning. Like, I don't care what we do at this point. I prefer winning because winning is just more fun. Because I think Washington loses this week.
Who did?
So, you know what I mean? Like, I think Washington loses. Seattle. So I think Washington loses this week in a tough game. I think it's a close game. I think Washington loses, and I think we win, and this shit gets real freaking interesting real quick. Because why would it not? It's Philadelphia.
Yep. And they start to bring us back in.
12-3. Then it'll be 12-3 with anybody besides Carson Wentz. And 12-3, that number gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the bigger that number gets, the weirder this shit gets.
Yep.
The weirder. If this dude won 4 in a row, he'd be 15-3 with somebody outside of Carson Wentz. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Even 11-3 is crazy. That's a big sample. That's a full fucking season.
Yeah.
The full season. So anybody tells me that Doug Peterson can't coach, I tell you to shut up. That's what I tell people that say that to me. Because the sample size is too big without this guy. So I'm starting to wonder, like we talked about last night, is this guy a problem? Like, can everybody else just win and he can't? I don't know. I mean, we judge quarterbacks off wins, losses too. 35-33-1. Not good enough.
We also judge a player based off of what a team does without you. Just saying, we've done fine without him.
I beg for him to run around like Jalen did all year. Not 18 rushes. Well, run around, make plays.
I'll take 4. I'll take 4 a game. You know what I'm saying? We didn't even see that.
No, we saw like 2. We saw different things. Now, granted, everybody says, "Oh, I wish they did run the same offense with Carson." You can't run the same offense. Like Brian Westbrook said that, and I wanted to throw my head through a freaking wall. What are you talking about? You played sports for too long and you know better that they ain't the same offense. Grow up. I mean, these comments are agenda-based bullshit comments, and I'm sorry because I love the guy, but it's a jackass comment, and you played this game long enough to know better, and you've been an analyst, air quote, long enough to know better that it ain't the same damn offense, right? And to say that, I don't know why they don't run it with Carson, because you don't run this offense with Carson. You run this offense with a quarterback who will run 18 times. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
The freaking joke. The joke. So sick of hearing everybody make like, Doug doesn't do the same things with Carson. Because, dude, there's more trust in a guy who's in his 5th year here, as there should be. There's more. This is why I hate when people give Doug shit. There's more trust in a guy who your organization paid $100 million to. There's more trust in a guy in his 5th year in your offense that you believe in. You trust them guys more.
That's why I know, Tom, because like we were talking about in text the other day. I was saying, man, and we love all of our Instagram people. We love everybody. But like so many people were trying to tell us on our Instagram feed all day the other day, oh, Carson, you're lying. Carson Wentz doesn't change the plays. It's all Doug. That's a lie. Like what we're saying is not breaking news. You know, like it's factual. It's literally what Doug has said for 5 years. What do we always say, Tom? Doug has said that in year 5, Carson will do what?
Master it.
Has he mastered it? No. I love
now.
Say that again.
And he became gun shy with stuff. So I mean, it's all trickle down of not enough around them, him struggling, and him not helping. And like I said last night on the freaking show, and I'll stand by this. All right, I'm tired of hearing this goddamn excuses, dude. You get paid $100 million, you become the alpha dog in the locker room. That happens automatically, okay? And you become a leader. I don't care what happened in the past. You become a leader the second you sign that deal. Whatever that organization does in terms of who's backing you up doesn't matter. Doesn't matter unless you're scared. And if you're scared, then I didn't want you anyway. I don't know. I'm not saying that's the case because I haven't given up on them yet. But you know, you gotta call how you see it right now. I'm not crowning Jalen Hurts. I'm more talking shit on a guy that I love. It's true. Because there's too much smoke around it.
Very true.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm tired of hearing excuses for the guy. Like, oh, well, they did this to him and they did this to him.
You know what they also did to him? They paid him $100 million.
It changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
It changes how they feel about you. They back the brink truck up to you.
Yep.
I'm not saying that's how he feels. I'm saying that agenda needs to go away now. It's it. Put it to bed.
The woe is me thing is gone. It's done. We can't do this.
I mean, and I know Aaron Rodgers and Carson Wentz are not even the same conversation. But I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers though, right? This year there was so much talent to give Aaron Rodgers more weapons on the offensive side of the ball. And what did they do? They went and drafted Jordan Love, and Aaron Rodgers sat there and said, "All right, I see what you're trying to do. Now I'm gonna go stick it up your ass." He's about to win MVP.
Well,
Dude's been insane this year.
I will say this though, like I know what they did in the first round. I get that,
but they didn't give him out any talent outside of that though.
There's already talent there. That's the difference maker.
Yeah,
okay?
That's it.
No,
as a wide receiver,
Lazard's pretty good.
Who do we have as a wide receiver that's Devontae Adams caliber?
Nobody.
That's my point, Ralph. So who? Like, look at their running backs. Adam Jones, right? Jamal Williams. They run the ball hard. Them guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They block well. Their defense is good. They got 2 lockdown corners. I mean, they have a lot of talent that they can afford to do that. That's the difference maker. They can afford to do it. And you know what I mean? And the guy, to your point though, Ralphie, no sulking, go sling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but the difference maker is Carson never has had they've never went out and got him somebody to grow with on the outside. That's the indictment on this organization. Okay? That's the indictment. All right? It's not an excuse for Carson, but you need to do that with every young quarterback. You go get him a guy to grow with. It was Nelson, and they decided to not bring him back. Okay? That was really a guy he trusted for big plays, even if he dropped some of them. Like, he would go back to him because they had a relationship from Jump Street. You need to figure who that's going to be, because Uncle Salty, all right, Salty Face, isn't going to be it.
TTP, he says, if Jalen wins these next 4 games and takes us to the playoffs, Carson deserves to sit next year. I don't disagree with that, but the money talks. He's not going to, like, unless Jalen is great in training camp in the preseason, Carson stinks, he's gonna be your starter.
I'll tell you this. I will tell you this. If that does happen this offseason, you got a big decision to make. Big decision to make.
Not to me. Not to me.
You either keep him or you dish him.
I don't got it.
If that's the way it's going to go, Jalen comes out, wins these next 4 games, some way, somehow. We make the playoffs. Okay, you got a big decision making.
Not with what we talked about on Monday, Tom.
No, not if you want to be creative.
Nope.
Like, you drafted him to be creative. So be creative. Give him 3 series a game. Be fucking creative. You don't have to go missionary, because that's what the sport's been. And somebody's like, oh, Tom, I'll say it again for everybody new here. Oh, Tom, it's high school shit. Everything in the NFL started in high school. I just want to let you know how this works. Right? The spread option, the spread offense, the RPOs. It's all fucking high school shit. Are we okay? That went to college, then implemented itself into the pros. All right? It all has. But it always starts at the high school level and the college level, and then guys get hired at next levels, bring their offense, and then it goes to the next level, right? I mean, come on, Greg knows this. You know, this is how it works. That's how it works. So why can't you be creative? Like, why can't you? If you're gonna go sulk because listen, go play like Patrick Mahomes at, okay, and then we won't have to worry about it. But until we're scoring 30+ points a game, you got to figure out a way to do it. So what matters to you more, playing every snap or winning football games? Because to me, I can pull it off. I already told you how. 2-3 possessions or series, right? You give Hurts. Carson's your starter, but you mix it in. And you mix it in. And if you can get 10 points a game from that, from 3 or 4 series, then so be it. I'm not telling you it's a quarterback like controversy. I'm telling you, use your best players on a roster that's not going to be good enough next year to your advantage.
Yep.
Because you're going to be losing a lot of people. So you have to figure out how to make these 2 help you win games, because they're your most 2 talented offensive players outside of Miles. So you got to figure out how to work all these guys in to win games. That's all that should matter. It doesn't have to be 4 series. It could be 2. But it's a different look. It's a different look. And if everybody's mentally prepared for that, game in, game out, it can work.
That's what they should have been doing all year up until this point.
They talked.
When you look at what Jalen Hurts does best, and especially being a rookie who, most people would think would have struggles throwing the ball at this level, especially right now, you start to implement him early on, especially as the season starts to go down the tubes, say, hey, let's mix it up. But, they decide, obviously they didn't, and this is where we are here. But no, I completely agree. And we're not going to be very good next year, just because we're not going to be able to afford to be very good next year.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Why can't you win a Super Bowl with a guy getting 2 series a game? Why can't you? Why can't you be different and win? I don't understand. Like, I get what you're saying, guys, because we're so used to something. We're not talking about a 2-quarterback system. That's not what we're talking about.
The Saints do it every game.
Yeah, we're putting a playmaker on the field. That's all we're doing. We drafted him in the second round. He's got to play. I don't care what Carson's getting paid next year. He has to be on the field in sample sizes, right? In some fashion. And no, JP, yes, he looked weird coming in for one play and leaving. We're not talking about one play. We're talking about series. If you go score on that series, you get the next one. Well, why don't we play a little make it take it? A little make it take it. You make it, you take it. You go down and get points, you get the next one. So Carson, you can score every drive and never come off the field then.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
No, it's true. Like we've talked about before.
That's not realistic. But if you're putting up 30 plus, then you give. If Carson's flat out slinging, right, real quick, then you only give him a series a game, right?
It's true.
Or you know what I mean? Or you give him 2 series a game if he's really slinging it. You don't want to lose it.
The Saints had the
guys, that doesn't work.
And anybody who's Steve, he says the Saints do not do it every game. Taysom Hill runs a single wing. That's not true. Then you got to watch more Saints games. That's not true. They literally last year they ran an offense with 3 quarterbacks. If you want to be technical, with Teddy Bridgewater, with Drew Brees, and Taysom Hill. If you want to be technical, so the Saints did it with Drew Brees, who was a Hall of Famer, and they started doing it in an MVP caliber season 2-3 years ago. And they said, oh, well, let's get creative because we think Taysom Hill's a weapon. They did it. They didn't have any urgency to do it or any need to do it because, again, they weren't playing bad. They were a top 3 team in the NFL then. And they said, hey, you know what we can do to take it over the edge? Do something like that. When you're in this conundrum, you got to get wild. We talked about that on Monday. When you really don't want to move Wentz because of the cap hit, but you want to implement Hurts because he gives your team a spark, then you do that. If you're that big offensive mind that Doug Peterson says he is, and we think he is, especially when Carson's not on the field, then you do it. That's what you do. And I don't think it's outlandish. Are we betting that's going to happen? No, because we're not running the football team. But we're saying that if they want to get the maximum potential out of what we have without having to take a major cap hit or having $103 million sitting on the bench, maybe you think about that, especially when they talked about doing it in week 4, literally this year with Jalen Hurts. Doug Peterson said we were going to implement Jalen Hurts drives. For some reason, they never did it. So if they talked about that in a rookie year when they had no plans on using them, why can't you do that in the second year when you know what Jalen Hurts can do, especially if he goes 3-1 the next 4 weeks and he possibly gets you in the playoffs?
Listen,
I don't see harm in that.
Any way you look at this, he's going to be on the field at times next year. So people got to learn to accept it. They drafted him for that reason, and you can either take it or leave it. But as bad as this roster is going to be next year, I want both of them on the field at times. Not like split 50-50 snaps. No. Carson's your starter, but Jalen's got to be on the field for a couple series and change it up, mix it up, give people a different look. All right? You're not good offensively. You're probably not going to be good offensively next year. You might be better with Brooks and Lane Johnson coming back, obviously. You'll be a lot better, but always more protection. But you drafted him in the second round, right? We all were like, what are we doing? Well, they had a plan, and it wasn't a plan, as Jeff Mosher told us the other night. It wasn't a plan to take Carson's job. Nope. It was a plan to give him another weapon on the offense in a different style similar to Taysom Hill.
They called him Taysom Hill on steroids on draft night. That was in Howie Roseman's transcript.
All right.
Taysom Hill on steroids.
So now you listen, year one, you implement it in. I get it. It doesn't happen overnight, especially the kind of off season you had. You know what I mean? So I get it. I get that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to hold Doug over the coals because Jalen Hurts wasn't playing more snaps earlier on. That'd be a crock of shit for me to do with the kind of off season you have, right? And your quarterback struggling, you're trying to get him right. You know what I mean? And your team's struggling, you're trying to get them right. But next year, now that he knows the offense, now that he's going to have a feel for it, right? In this kind of sample size, then you don't need to get him ready to go next year. You understand? You don't need that. That all season isn't as important as this one would have been for a rookie. Now the guy knows what the NFL speed is, right? Right, guys? So now it's like not a big of an adjustment year two that it would be this year. So, this is why in a weird way the playing time's important.
True.
No, absolutely.
For Eagles fans, it's fucking important because we can sit back and continue to be the definition of insanity and expect something different from Carson Wentz every week. We can sit here and say this is the week he breaks out. It's not. It wasn't happening. And I'm tired of watching 3 points scored in the game. You know what I mean? Essentially, until a defense loosens up.
Right. So they're playing prevent.
Yeah.
With the
everybody scored.
string.
We watch Red Zone. Everybody's in the Red Zone but us. Like if you turn on NFL Red Zone and just only turn the Eagles game on, you probably won't see it.
The only time our games would show up on Red Zone is when the other team had the ball.
Yeah, exactly. The best.
Our defense. That was it.
And isn't it funny though? Like he wasn't bad early on. He continued to get worse.
Yeah.
Who, Wentz?
Yeah, like the whole thing continued to get worse.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how it all works out. But either way, fun show.
Yes, it
definitely.
was.
Let's say
Nice
Wednesday.
free burger.
Yep.
This time next week we'll be doing
Sixers.
a recap and reactions of the first Sixers game of the year.
Let's go.
Next Wednesday, 1 week from now.
Looking forward to that, just for the reasons we talked about. And maybe we get a win this weekend. Maybe Washington loses, and we get a false sense of hope where we have two things to watch. You know what I mean?
I
Love false sense of hopes.
One more week, right, Tom? One more week.
Yep, give me one more week. I mean, I know everybody else lose out for Jamar Chase. I get y'all. Let's draft another wide receiver. Even though we do need to go hit on one, please, because the Devontae Adams conversation we had earlier, we do need to freaking go hit on one. So I know you're in cap hell and you need to put a roster together next year. But if you're like 15 or 20 drafting, you better get your ass up. You better get your ass up into the top 10. I don't care what you got to do.
Because you got to come out. You got to come out of there with one of the three.
You got to come out of there with Smith or freaking or Chase or it ain't even a conversation for me.
Well, it's Chase, Smith, or Waddle.
Yep.
The other kid from Alabama.
Now Waddle feels like Ruggs to me a little bit.
He does. I don't disagree.
I'm a name guy.
I don't like Ruggs. Like what Ruggs' skill set is. It's fine.
Yep.
Better. I mean, listen. I'm sorry, salty face, but like Henry Ruggs has the one big catch we all seen is bigger than any catch you had all year. So I'm not going to any wide receiver anymore. Even though like Chase Claypool has more TikTok videos than receptions. Welcome to 2020. Because that was a fun fact.
I would rather not.
53 TikToks, 51 catches, or 52.
It's unreal.
It was a meme I saw. Is he overrated? That's what the question.
Which receiver was this?
Claypool.
Oh, okay. That's going to be a post. Thank you.
I had the meme. I'll send it to you.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Oh,
That's great, though.
Yeah, I didn't even see that. I mean, that's phenomenal.
that guy's overrated. Look at this guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, if you're anywhere near there, you got to go up and get one of them. And I'm with you, Smith, Chase, Smith.
I don't want Chase. I don't want him. I don't like the year not playing. I don't like the year not playing football. Not this sport.
Thank you.
I got guys who need to play. I don't care what you're running around doing. I need guys who just played. Devontae Smith just played and dominated. Give him to me. Send him in. I know he's coached up well too. I don't got to question how coached up he is. The other guy divorced his wife as soon as he won a national title game. I don't know how coached up his players are. I'm
not the sad thing. Am I wrong for saying I'm not even looking at offense right now? I'm looking at Surtain.
Surtain's going top 5.
No, I'm saying if we're there. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying.
Listen, there's 2 corners that are top 10 corners in this draft. And the other kid I'm drawing a blank on. But there's another kid who's a top 10 or 2 who we were actually projected to take it like 9 or 8 or something. And like Smith went after.
I did that mock draft thing. My first 3 picks, I think it was at 6. I ended up with Parsons, the offensive tackle from Notre Dame, and then I went Mac Jones in the 3rd round.
That's nice.
Because we don't need anything else.
We can get Asante Samuel Jr. in the 2nd.
Like any juniors, Ryan. Guys.
Thank you.
I beg for Antoine Winfield. I beg for, I know everybody else was Jeremy Chin. I'm not going to say I was Jeremy Chin. I wasn't running around for him, but I definitely was running around for Winfield. Right? I was running around for a few guys that were doable for us, and we would have been 100 times better. If you just let me handle this draft, we're probably a playoff team.
Probably.
Just the first 2 rounds.
Just give it to the simulator we did on draft night. I went back and watched that like a week ago. I'll tell you what, some money picks in there, the computer.
Tom, you talking about Farley from Virginia Tech?
Yes.
You talking about Horn from South Carolina?
No, Farley from Virginia Tech.
Yeah, because with Horn from South Carolina, there's a mock from Tankathon that's got 3 cornerbacks going top 15.
So I can see that.
There's Don chiming in with Farley. Yeah, check out Caleb Farley, Virginia Tech. He's nice. Yeah, no, absolutely.
No, Farley is nice. That's the kid I was talking about. Surtain's obviously another one because I love the pedigree. But the problem is, this is the problem though. If I'm going up again, this is a mess. If I'm going up and getting a corner, then I'm still not addressing the number 1 wide receiver issue that this team needs. And so am I good enough to do it in the 2nd round? No. But am I good enough to draft the corner in the 2nd round? No. I'm not good enough. This is a mess. This is a.
And we didn't even talk about linebacker, Tom. We didn't even talk about linebacker.
Oh, linebacker. You got you got a better shot hitting the lottery tomorrow or actually you can play a lottery every day. You can play 100 a day, different types of shit. You got a better chance of hitting $1 million, all right, for life. Like you get $1 million every year. Like it's like $1 million every year, not even $1 million for life. $1 million every year. You got a better chance of hitting something like that than you do of them drafting a linebacker in the 1st round. A better chance of that.
Can I just say?
Sorry, go ahead.
No. Say what were you gonna say, Don?
No, I was gonna say Tankathon has the first 3 Eagles picks.
Yeah,
is Jalen Waddle at 9 right now.
Can I
Jackson Carman. Nick Bolton's a linebacker from Missouri, and Jackson Carman tackle from Clemson.
And
now,
to
my
make
only
matters,
issue with Waddle is Smith was still on the board.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say the best part about this, because you took the words right out of my mouth, we are taking Waddle 2 picks ahead of Devontae Smith, who's going to the Lions.
Yeah. I can't do this right now. 12:30 at night. I can't do this. I'm not talking no heartbreaking. I can't watch another guy go to a different team that we had a chance of getting. I can't do it right now.
Devontae like Smith would go to that we need. There's like a 45 position.
Yeah, right.
We're gonna
we need offensive line. We need corners. We need linebackers. We need wide receivers.
D end.
I don't think we have to go offensive line any bit early in this draft. Because I expect to get Lane back. I expect to have Driscoll. I expect to get Dillard. I expect to get Brooks. There's a lot of guys coming back for this line that I don't have to go early, right? It doesn't matter. Yeah. Go 4th round on, I got to go address it and get deeper there.
Especially center.
Yeah, especially
because I think one of the easy moves to get some cap space is forcing Kelsey to retire.
Maybe. I'm interested to see what they do with some of these guys because they might have more picks this year, possibly.
Right. Yeah.
We'll see if they do. But, at the end of the day, your first 3 rounds, in no specific order, sadly, you need wide receiver, corner, linebacker. I mean, that's what you need. Mm-hmm. That's what you need in some fashion in the first 3 rounds. That's what you need. And I hate being in need world, right? I hate being there. But that's the direction you have to go. So if the best player on the board is a corner in the first round, that's who you take.
How long have you been saying that, too?
Oh, my God.
They're the 3 positions. They are the 3 positions that are so important to this football team moving forward. Your defensive line, Your defensive line, Greg, real quick, should still be good. You're going to have Hargraves. You're going to have Malik Jackson no matter what. The one you might not have is Fletcher. I still think you have him. I still think they figure something out there. Brandon Graham's back, okay? And
Sweat can play.
Sweat can play, and I still think they figure something out with Derek Barnett. They invest so much in up front. I don't think they're going to run from that. I just don't. I think they figure out a way to keep this front intact. They had a really good year together, but nobody took the ball away in the back end. That's where they got to fuck. So, Hargrave coming around, starting to feel the 4-3 out, right? We're seeing it. 3 sacks in 2 games. So you're starting to see the growth of some of that stuff. So I think they can stay put there, right? They don't have to go there till later in the draft either, just to get deeper. Where else? Corner? Fucking corner? Safety?
Safety's bad. If you look at the way
running back, corner, it's a mess.
And sadly, wide receiver, we keep talking about it, especially early on. We've wasted at least 4 picks in total in the last 2 drafts on wide receivers, and we're still looking for wide receivers.
Yep.
Now, listen. If Jalen Reagor comes out over the last 3 games and he's putting up 6 catches for 90 yards and starting to look like a number 1 draft pick, then I'll change the conversation a little bit. But until then, that's a big time need for us.
Not if those 2 are available, and not if I'm a spot to get those 2.
Even I was going to say, Tom, you're right. I'm just at the point. I'm not saying you're not, but
even if I go corner is my point. That's how.
Yeah.
The only way I go corner is if he shows a huge and it's got to be big. It's got to be we're talking about 6 to 8 catches a game and really making impact plays. And you're like, oh, that's the guy. Okay.
They've got to have he's got to at least have 4 touchdowns in the next 3 weeks for me to be like, whoa. You know what I'm saying?
Because I really don't want to go to it right till the 3rd round. Because I've used so many, like I said, I used so many in the last 2 years, high round picks, and I've missed. Or maybe missed. I don't know if I missed on Reagor yet, but maybe missed. Okay?
It's not number 1 talent.
No, I can't go there again. I got to go. I know everybody wants Chase or Smith, but I almost have to go corner. Who if I can have somebody on the other side of Slay, it makes me so much better. So I need that. Linebacker to me, I want one, but it's I'll take one in the 2nd round. I don't need one in the 1st round unless it's Parsons. I don't need one in the 1st round unless Parsons sitting right there. Yep. And then again, wide receiver, if I'm good enough at it, I should be able to find a guy who could be impactful year 1 in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing. I ain't going. We can go on rants on this too long. That was too much heartbreak with drafts.
We'll have the next 4 months.
Well, maybe that gets cut down a little bit. Maybe we go. Maybe we win some games here.
I hope.
What's Rodney McLeod's future here? How do you get out of that? Some of that money. You know what I mean?
No way he's here. Oh, he's only on a 1-year deal, right?
Was it a 1 year? Yeah, it was.
I was gonna say that's the thing, Tom. Safety scares me to death because Mills, no shot, he's here. McLeod, I'd be surprised just because of the money situation. You're looking at Kevon Wallace as a starter, which I like him, but I have no freaking clue what that's going to be. You got to then get the second guy out of somewhere because Marcus Epps, really? The linebacking core, I like Singleton. He's not great. Edwards is okay. Gary sucks. You're going to have to retool that whole thing.
He is here for next year.
Who, McLeod?
Yeah.
Is it an option?
No.
What's the money then?
Cap hit of 4.6, dead cap hit of 6.1.
He's here.
Yeah, he's here. Okay, I stand corrected. Okay, so that's good. I feel better then. So it's probably
unless in a Kelsey way you're able to talk him into retirement. I don't think so, but maybe the injury is that severe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, if Rodney can play, I want him here. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm much more confident in Rodney and Kevon.
It's just the ACL, right?
Yes. Yep. Just straight up ACL.
Where are we at? No, where are we at? December?
Isn't that his second one too?
Yeah. Well, 2 years ago he had it in the other knee.
Oh, lovely. Double dip.
Yeah.
So he could be back by October.
Yeah.
And that's 10 months.
We got so many holes.
I'm sweat.
You know what you need to do then? This is what we need to do. You need to have multiple second-round picks, multiple thirds. You have to. I'm not saying we're going to hit on them. You know what I'm saying? That way we can tackle, maybe receiver, linebacker in the second. You know what I'm saying? We got to double dip with some of these things. And maybe getting rid of the Fletchers and the Zach. I mean, Zach Ertz, I have no idea what we're getting. But you know what I'm saying? Like getting rid of some of these guys. Maybe Fletcher gets us a second or a third. Maybe Zach gets us a third or a fourth. I'm just spitballing here. We have no idea. We got to see how these guys play.
Well, you got to figure out a way to get deeper, like they told us they were going to do for the last 3 years. Been a joke. All right, boys, fun show.
Fire Howie,
absolutely.
Nah, JP, my freaking tooth's on fire. That's why killing me right now. So
I'll be looking. Don. He says Andre Cisco from Syracuse. Well, I know Wilson will love that.
I mean, am I really taking anybody from Syracuse?
True.
We would. This has been the Big Sam and the PM, HUD Radio. I'd like to thank our doc. Make him yours, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC, Burlington, Cherry Hill. Locations. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com, as well as allcampusoc.com.
Sorry. Okay.
Allcampusoc.com. Discount code HUD for 15% off team hats. All right? Some team hats for you at allcampusoc.com, as well as phillydrinkers.com/pages/HUD radio. And you can get all your HUD merch. So tumblers, hats, shirts, quarterback factory shit, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of fun stuff. Got over there at phillydrinkers.com when you search HUD radio.
Couple things real quick on the sweeps hotline. First of all, Trailblazers got trounced today by 31.
It's preseason, man. Remember?
But the actual real news, Mackenzie Milton, the kid quarterback from University of Central Florida when they won the national championship.
Yeah.
I'm with Florida State.
Nice.
Oh, Florida State. So that's an interesting one. Hopefully, for Florida State fans, gets them some stability at the quarterback position. And then he said, drafted wide receiver at 21, but can't be number one. Stay hot, Howie.
Sure. Yeah. And like Steve asked, are you making, you're judging record off of I'm judging record off of what everybody else is doing too. So that comes into play of it.
In the most loaded wide receiver draft in years, remember. So I don't feel like we got to wait 3 years from this class.
No, not at all. Not at all. All right. We love you all. Thank you all for joining.
Dynasty. Thanks, everybody.
Follow, subscribe. If you're on the podcast, download. You know the deal. All right. Everybody be safe out there. Birds of a feather tomorrow night. Hockey happy hour tomorrow night. Set those alerts. For Tom Renone, Greg Moakvik, Ryan Brodo, Ralph Del Vecchio, and all you animals out there. We out.